Good afternoon, track and field fans from around the world. We are here in France, meeting in Reuil, just an hour or so outside of Paris, which played host to a phenomenal Olympic Games. We can all agree on that. But today, we're indoors for one of the busiest weekends in the indoor calendar. It really is. 2 weeks out from most countries' national championships around Europe and around the world, with the European indoors on the horizon and the World Indoors in Nanjing, China, which was postponed way back in 2020. So athletes fighting for qualifying marks. One of those athletes who already has that mark is that man to the right of picture, Chris Nielsen, 6:01. Just a couple of days ago. He is in fine form. The former medalist at many global and Olympic Games and championships over the years, and he's here as, America's leading man really in the pole vault, and many more to come. And look at this then, just quiet Matei. Great to see him in full health and gracing tonight's action over the 60-meter hurdles. A man that had a phenomenal World Indoor campaign last year, or indoor campaign, should I say, culminating at the World Indoors, but unfortunately rupturing that Achilles in April time, preparing for the outdoors, so missed his home Olympic Games, but he's here for a bit of redemption, and his new Olympic cycle is about to get underway. Well, we're familiar with this man too, Pascal Martinot-Lagarde, one of the leaders in the hurdles around the world, long before the likes of Grant Holloway, and he'll be up against his old rival, Orlando Ortega, as well, of Spain. Those who know each other very, very well through the mid-teens. And Piaskowska, it really is a fantastic lineup across the men's and women's races here over the 60-meter hurdles. And boy, she comes into this in good form as well, Deshikowska. He's running very well out in Belgrade just a few days ago. While Agathe Guillemot of France, what a summer as well. Another athlete who's 2024 could not have gone any better. 3:56, national record holder. Can she break her own national record here in the mile? And she'll be looking for anything inside that 4:30 mark and below that national record of 4:29. Can she better that? So here's some of the stars that are on offer this afternoon here in Val de Reuil. It is a fantastic track. Intimate, the crowd are on top of them, multi-purpose venue as well, the Jesse Owens Stadium, and it really is club culture and community at the beating heart of this meeting. Like so many in France, I've mentioned a few times on commentary over the last couple of weeks, the way that French athletics operates and the way the club system operates in France really is a blueprint for the rest of the world. You know, can the clubs and the system in the UK, America, and so on build on what they have and the way they run across France, and especially Germany as well. Those two nations really do lead the way in track and field, and getting that community buy-in as well. So first event is off at 4:10 local time, ladies and gentlemen, 3:10 if you're joining from the UK or wherever you are in the world. And that will be the women's 60 meters. So they're a few minutes away. They've got 3 heats in. Here is the timetable. In fact, we'll then move on to the women's 1500 meters, the regional race, and 60-meter hurdles. Those under 20s. High jump is in town. Morgan Lake comes back, and British record holder 199 in the men's 1500. There's a few women's 800 races with the B race and that kind of World Tour label race as well. So that triple jump, certainly one to watch as that unfolds. And so you can see over the next few hours, we have a lot on offer here. And it is great to bring in those regional races amongst the World Tour. And then you really see the premium, creme de la creme of races at the latter stage of tonight. That men's 800, a Tui comes to town, 142 man over the 800. That women's mile, I mentioned Guillemot will attack that meeting record and perhaps our own national record. The men's 3000 also one to watch, and there's a lot that has happened already this weekend, and what more are we going to see today? We've seen some world leads and athletes getting amongst that top 10 on the all-time rankings, and you know, whether it's the middle distance and taking action from Boston or those fast indoor meets that we've seen in the World Tour. The gold label has already had a few a few events take place this week. We were in Belgrade on Wednesday. That's where the likes of Shikoska were, battling it out over the 60-meter hurdles. An athlete that was just like Kwame Tsai, was third last year at those World Indoors. And she really did build off of that, you know, third at the European Championships and coming off of that Belgrade Indoor Tour, second just a few days ago as well. Former European outdoor champion over the 100-meter hurdles. She'll certainly be up against it. A few French stars, Judy Chalcout and Laetitia Baptiste as well. Those two, both you know, finalists and very, very strong athletes at the national champs and on to the European and Olympic Games as well. So I believe trackside, we are being introduced to the stars that we're going to see this afternoon. And I can do a little bit of that myself here. I mentioned just Kwame Tsai and what can he do today? Can he attack meet records and look ahead to the World Indoors? Can he better it? And it's going to be an interesting year, 2025. I think it's certainly a year where some athletes potentially are finding it hard to really motivate themselves and get stuck into this new Olympic cycle after the kind of highs and possibly the lows of that Olympic Games of Paris. And some will be hungry to really push on and announce themselves over the next 4 years and go into 2028 as one of the favorites and the big stars potentially of the Games. There was no doubt just Kwame Tsai was going to be a star of Paris 2024, so he will be looking to redeem himself and certainly not get injured this year. And it's often the way, isn't it, when you're really pushing to showcase your class on the big occasion. That's when you're taking the most risks. But the women's shot put, what a competition we have in store today as well. Fanny Roos, former global medalist and Swedish superstar, is going to certainly be one to watch. The women's pole vault as well, 467. And these events took place a little bit earlier on and wrapped up. And Imogen Iris over from Australia looking to just get her indoor campaign off. It's always a debate for Australians. Do they come over to Europe, get on the circuit, compete, or do they stay? Because obviously, you know, the Southern Hemisphere very much into their outdoor season right now, and obviously Imogen Iris choosing to get amongst it outdoors. The men's high jump, the regional competition here in Val de Reuil as well, and that one being wrapped up, and you can see these elite women now getting ready for the 60-meter hurdles. So already 60 meters to kick start the afternoon here. So there'll be 3 heats, and they will prepare themselves for a final a little bit later on in about, well, just over an hour's time. So it'll be a quick turnaround for these women. It really will, but many of them will welcome that and prepare them for those European Championships and World Indoor Championships where it's potentially a semi-final and a final within a couple of hours of each other. And we'll look to introduce many of these now. So in Heat 1, I can confirm we have Cynthia Leduc and Naomi Denon, Maria Isabel Perez, Jemima Joseph in here as well, Natasha Nagoya Kamibi. Look out for her, 7:30 her lifetime best, 7:42 that season's best. But you could say perhaps the Spaniard is the favorite. Maria Perez, one of the faster athletes overall in this field. And already down on that 7:21 season's best, which certainly bodes well when you're operating in that sort of region. Quick summary then of this women's shot put. Jessica Schilder out in front, high into the 19 highs. Is that the winning throw? And that women's pole vault as well. Imogen Iris from earlier on, kick-starting things. Very, very strong indeed, and good winning jump from her. and in that men's pole vault too. So then heat 1 of the women's 60 meters about to get underway. You would presume it's going to be 2 fastest and 2 fastest losers, or 2-time qualifiers, I should say, to have 8 in this final. But we'll see how it unfolds. That would be the obvious qualification process. It'd be very unusual to have the winner in 4 fastest time qualifiers. And one of the interesting things about Mariah Perez is very much that 100-meter background. She's often in the 4x1 quartet for Spain, you know, competing at the European Championships or even World Championships. But also she does have that 100-meter background. She was 6th at the European Championships in 2022 down in Munich, of course. And so now transitioning well to the hurdles, an event that she's always been, you know, thereabouts. So the women's 60, 7:21 on 2 occasions on the same day, Maria Perez. There she is, the Spaniard, Jemima Joseph as well of France. Another athlete to look out for, 11:01 outdoors. Very much enjoys the 100 meters. Well, here's Denon. She goes in 7:46, her lifetime best. She's operating in that region. She's going to have to probably improve on it again if she wants to make this final. Cynthia Leduc. Goes in 2. Well, there she is then, just been talking about her, Perez. And one of the hot stars in Spain over those short sprints, the 100 and especially the 60. Jemima Joseph then of France, 7:33, another one who comes into this in fine form. I mentioned her brilliant, right on the cusp of breaking that 11-second barrier. Poloniki and Meludu of Greece there. And also Joseph on that 4th in that 4x1 at the Olympic Games, just missing out. Well, Nkoye Akamibi, she's been moving very, very well. As a Kiwi, she won in the B final in last weekend. And on the outside then, there of France. So the women's 60 meet record dates back. Maria Reuil of Ivory Coast, 7:06 from 2013. It'd be great to see that come under threat. Van der Vieken went 7:07 for the world lead just a week or so ago. Denon, Leduc, Perez, Joseph, Emeludu, Nkoye Akamibi, and Goubert. So then eyes on Joseph and Perez. Joseph gets a great start as well. Can she make up some ground on Perez? She's going to do just that on far side. Emeludu of Greece looked very, very strong. She may have just edged that one out. And I think Jemima Joseph just a little bit frustrated. She started to come up onto Perez, but I think she's going to be into that final. No doubt about it. We'll have a look at the results as they come through on my screen already. And there it is. Yep, the Greek has taken victory. And there's the surprise. 7:24, equal lifetime best. And that will be surprised. You know, we've just ticked over into February. And to do it in the heat, albeit it would have been full gas, no doubt, to cement their place in the final, about an hour's time or so. So here it was definitely Perez who got the best start out of the lot. Then Joseph starts to make up on her. Then on the outside, Emeludu makes up the ground on Joseph for 7:24. That's the only result that's been confirmed. I think it was tight on the line between Perez and Joseph. It really was. It's fine running from these women in this 60 meters. Congratulating one another, as you do, and it's a great time to follow track and field. And I think the indoor season is always a little bit, competition is fierce. Don't get me wrong, but I think there's always in the back of all the athletes' minds that bigger picture on what's to come outdoors and how you're shaping up. So actually, unofficial, it's looking like the result may have been given to Perez, and that means Emiludu with the equal time of 7:24 sits in second. Now that's what's flashing up on my screen. We will wait for the official results. I think they're going to be studied for quite some time now, because that is going to come down to the 100th, if not the 1000th of a second there. Some of the crowd did. It is a sold-out event here in Reuil. And I mentioned that these local towns in France do a great job at engaging the community to come out and support on a Sunday afternoon. And you can see them sitting pretty high up above the track, actually, on a bit of a balcony-esque stand in this fantastic arena. Well, here we go then. Right, results look to be confirmed. I thought it was weird that Perez was flashing up on my screen as 7:24. It looks like that may well be Jemima Joseph of 7:24, which is a nice, shiny PB for her. 7:33, her former lifetime best. And then Emiludu gets second. Both of them running 7:24, so that comes down to 1,000th of a second. Perez there, 7:28. Make a note of that at home, because that is the time to beat to get into that final in an hour or so. You would like to think that with 7:28, that will be enough, surely, to make it into the final with the time qualifiers. So here we are in women's heat 2. We've got Bianca Williams in here. What an experienced international she is, the Portuguese as well. Angie Rimlinger of France, 7:35 last weekend, 11:36 her lifetime best. And Claudine Sarah, of course, Jessie Tijani on the outside. Bianca Williams certainly wants to watch this. Fantastic 200-meter runner. That really is her favourite discipline. And often on that British 4x1 quartet, she's picked up many global medals over her time as well. There's Lauren Dorcas Bazalo, her the Portuguese athlete, and this lady is having a fine indoor season so far, edging down closer and closer to her lifetime best. Here's Rimlinger, 7:35. Like I said, that was just last weekend. Also another athlete coming into PB shape. It's great to see so many of these women right on the cusp of lifetime bests. Now Narasoa there. And Tijan on the outside. Great opportunity for her to mix it with some of the stars in lanes 6, 5, and 4. And even 3 with Bianca Williams. It looks like Khadija Sharofo is a non-start in 2. So Bianca Williams will have a clear lane to her left. 7:28, perhaps the time to beat just to secure that time qualification. Don't forget, we've got one more heat to come as well. So Williams, Bazolu, Kone, Rimlinger, Narasoa, and Tijan.
Set.
Look out in 5, Kone, second and third at those African Championships last summer. She looks to be moving very, very well. Coming through, dead center, on the line, that's close. 7:30, ladies and gentlemen, so a touch slower, unofficially, than that previous heat. And it was neck and neck. You know what? Williams and Bazzalu did very, very well just to hold off, just to relax through that midsection towards the end of that race. And that's Williams' 200-meter speed coming through. Who's won this one then? Well, we'll take it with a pinch of salt. There were a lot of changes from that previous heat. It took them a while to iron out and really study the photo finish in order to get those confirmed results. But it's saying Bazzalu, Kone in second, which means Williams will be down in third. And that's what is worth noting, the time there. 7:29 for the win. 100th of a second slower than Perez in heat 1. There you are, Bianca Williams. Look at that. Look how close it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is 60 meters at its absolute best. You can't call it on the line. But Kone and Williams, you can see having to go down to 1,000th of a second. Season's best for the pair of them, no doubt, though. So they'll take that. Well, here we go then. So I was all eyes on Kone dead center. It looked like Williams actually got the best start and just wavering a little bit towards the edge of the lane, coming under pressure from Gonzalo. And here's the Portuguese athlete. And you can see actually how tense Kone was throughout that race. Maybe felt she was just a yard behind from the offset. Good run on the outside as well. From Narasoa there, Claudine Narasoa. 7:44, trains over here in France. Rimlinger as well, 7:37. So she'll have to wait. I think she's going to be under threat whether she makes that final or not. Here's confirmation of that women's 60 heat 2. So now we look to the likes of 7:31. And I think Bianca Williams is going to be a second-time qualifier with the likes of Perez at 7:28 as well. And Cynthia Leduc is someone who's going to probably not make that final now. The third and final heat coming up. You can see it's fast-paced athletics action here. Meeting Europe. As I mentioned, sold-out meeting, and they've been gradually announcing the stars, teasing us every couple of weeks or so, building into this one. And so, one to watch, Delphine Nicanza. She really is. She was well, European champion, European under-23 champion over 200 for a few years ago, back in 2023. And ran a lifetime best in Luxembourg a little while, about a couple of weeks ago, but comes into this fine form. Sixth of those European Championships over the 4x1. Disappointing to not see Orlando Leary partake today. She looked to be in fine form, Leary, but athletes always adjusting their schedules as they develop through the season. Sometimes they might have exceeded expectations early on, so they can kind of take a bit of a back step, get into a bit more of a training block and prepare for those national championships. Some will be chasing qualifying times for the European Champs and World Indoor Championships right up until the last possible date, which, by the way, is the 22nd of February. So Sabrina Gross is another athlete to look out for in this. French sprinting in a fantastic place right now, it really is. Like I said, just off a medal at the Olympic Games in the 4x1. They'll be wanting to change that come 2028 and, of course, come the World Championships in 2025. So there you are, someone who's raced a lot this indoor season, Olivia Fotopoulou. Of Cyprus, she really has. 7:26 her lifetime best, 7:30 season's best, and it's great to see her back again. Of course, athletes in these short sprints often getting the opportunity for a heat and a final on the same day. Meet organisers understand and appreciate that at this stage in the season, athletes just need races. They need a practice going through their preparations, getting out and being in that race scenario. No matter how much you try and replicate it in training, it is never the same. Well, there's Nicanza, I mentioned her, but they were Belgian superstar over the 100, 200 as well. I think they've got high hopes for her to develop into something very special on the global stage. She's getting there. And this next Olympic cycle, what can she do? Well, best do then, 7:18, equal lifetime best in Nicanza. Who's going to come out on top? Richard Mingas is someone who really will want to be in that final later on. It'll be a good opportunity for her to match up against some of the best. And there you are, then Moulin on the outside, 7:34. And Kouassi, again, another non-starter. Nazarino, of course, in one. So Nazarino, Gross, Fotopoulou, and Nicanza, best Richard Mingas, and Moulin. Perhaps the most evenly matched
on your mark
60-meter heat we have. Almost the whole field have run in the 730s and down into the sub 720s. As always, we expect Bestu and Nikanza and Fodapoulou to rise first and contest for victory from those middle lanes. Well, up and running, that's a good start from Fodapoulou. However, it looks like the Kansas moving very well, streaking clear of the rest of the field. 7:19 unofficially. And that will question her lifetime best, won't it? That will challenge for it. We'll have to wait and see what that official mark is, but that was a fine heat. Goodness me. 7:21, 7:31 for Moulin. That's a surprise. Lifetime best for her. Punching above her weight here, getting amongst some of the stars. And really showing what she can do. She will be delighted with that. Bestu, well, we had high hopes. And came in on paper level with Nikanza, but couldn't touch her there. That was a fantastic run. And you know what? With that, you're starting to put, you know, the crown on her head for the final. Anything can happen in this sport. Boy, do we know that better than anyone. That's why we tune in, week out for these meetings. But Mingas, by the way, Richard Mingas, nice season's best for her, 7:40. But boy, did she look good. She really did. So, Delphine Nikanza, it's a big season's best. It's just outside a lifetime best for her, the Belgian. And indoor athletics in, you know, sort of Belgium and France and Germany is very, very popular. Of course, alongside some of the distance athletes alongside there. But look at that fun run and just poured it on. But it was all in the start, really. Once she went clear of Bestu, I feel like she could get up into her running and she could relax once she had that margin already. And I think that's key. Often you can run quicker when you go clear of the field. I know it sounds like a given, but you just haven't got those distractions to your right and left, and you can just be in your zone and hit that sweet spot that these athletes will seek. So fine running from Nikanza will summarize that. Qualification for her, 7:21, 7:31. Now this is interesting. It has a small Q by their name, and I wonder if it was just a case of time qualification for the top 8. If there was no... Oh, here we go. Nikanza, yeah, we've got Joseph in there, Perez, Zolu, Koenig, Moulin and Williams, yeah, perfect. And you can see the depth. That is going to be one interesting final, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. All those women within a 1/10 of a second of each other come that final later on. And it's been just under an hour, actually. They'll have 40 minutes, 50 minutes to go prepare for that. And meanwhile, the hurdle's being set up on the infield. We're going to have the women's 1500 regional race. That'll be coming up. That will to tease us for that women's mile a little bit later on. Chris Nielsen, what's he got in the locker here? Fantastic to have him here. He's getting his European tour underway. The American, and there's not much, you know, he hasn't achieved in. And he's unfortunately competing in an era with the likes of Mondo Duplantis, and quite frankly, pole vault has just soared and been taken to new heights. It's not just Mondo, the depth is incredible, and it is a fantastic era for someone like Nielsen to compete in. But perhaps if he was born, you know, sort of 10 years earlier or so, he certainly would have picked up some global gold medals in his time. He's got 2 silvers, one from the World Championships in 2022, Olympic silver in 2021, and of course that bronze medal at the World Championships out in Budapest in 2023. So he's been, you could call him almost the nitty man, but it's been very unfortunate. But so far, you know, he really has built 565, 580, and 601. His best marks in 2025, and you know, those 6-meter jumps don't come easy. Despite more and more men breaking it, that 6-meter barrier year on year. But it's not just Nielsen in this pole vault competition that we should look forward to. We've got the like of Thierry Baptiste as well, 575, equal lifetime best last week. And he's come away with a first, second, and a third this year, opening up his 2025 campaign, 9th in that European Championships in Rome. Did well to make the final there. Boy, was there great depth. Ben Brodus, Olympian in 2024 as well. And we have got quite a few Americans in town. Jacob Woodson, 590 lifetime best. He obviously went to Olympic Games for the U.S. Perhaps he really did pull it out the bag in those U.S. trials to qualify. Well then, this is what's coming up next in the next sort of half an hour to an hour's time. And after that 1500 men's race, that will be the women's 60 final. Just sort of a few minutes after that, you can see. And the women's 800 meter B race. Triple jump will get underway at 5:30. We've got 6 meter hurdles, 800 meter men's B race, and that men's 60 hurdles heats, and of course their final will close out in the evening. And that really is what people will be here to see. That men's 3000 promising to be a fast matchup as well. So 5 Americans in the pole vault, and a Frenchman and a Belgian. Those Americans have really come over and looking to compete. And you know, for pole vaulters, travel is a big thing. And as much as there is a whole host of competitions over on U.S. soil, getting around Europe is probably a lot easier for them. So then, this women's 1500 meters. On the start line now, they'll be coming out, and this is the French regional race. It is an all-French affair in this one, and PBs ranging from 4:32 right up to sort of 4:48, 4:50, that sort of mark. So what can these women do? With this crowd, can you go on and grab a lifetime best, be inspired? And here's Grout. They come out one by one. There are a few who's worth taking note of. I mean, Marie Temple is a 56 400 meter runner, stepping up in distance here over the 1500, but that 4:42 lifetime best of hers is due. There she is as she comes out in the blue vest. It's definitely due some attacking and rewriting. So be interested to see what sort of pace they go at. Will they work together for a period of time? And you do tend to start to look at someone like Axel Jacks, who is the fastest in the field. She wears number 4 to the right of her number there. She's dead center within the race. Emily Leroy, 4:51, her lifetime best. Indoors. Well, off and away they go then in the athlete I mentioned a little bit before, Marie Temple, just looking to slot into second place. Arguably one of the favorites here, as well as Heloise Duffy there in the black. So she wears bib number 7. So those two looking very, very smooth. They'll have the wave lights to work off as well. And that's great to see. And often now it's not quite a criteria, but it certainly attracts a few more middle distance stars, that's for sure. If you have wave lights at your meeting, it's going to be easier to lure them in and get them to come compete. And you can see that wave light is going to be operating at that 4:30 tempo. And that's about 72 seconds per lap, per 400 spit, shall I say, 36 per lap. Getting close to that 4:48 mile speed, 3 minute Ks for those of you who work in the metric system. Leading the Y at this stage. She is the athlete who's going to be closest to that 4:30 mark. She's been there before, but do watch out for Marie Temple in second place, looking very smooth. And this is a race which is setting up just for Emily Leroy as well. Axel Jacks sitting in third place. She wears the red and white strip with Normandy Athletic Club. Not too far away from them at all, just a short commute over. And these three look like they might just starting to be breaking away here. 36-0 for that lap. And it's going to be easy through this early part of the race. Just focus on the lights, find your rhythm, and it's single file. That's what you want. You don't want to be expending energy, pushing and shoving out there. In the 1500, yes, you have an indoor and an outdoor PB, or a short track, shall I say, and a long track outdoor lifetime best. But although it is a fraction slower indoors over 1500, you can still run very, very fast. I think one of the reasons 1500 running is a bit slower indoors is purely because of the bodies. It's much harder to get round athletes, and it's much more physical. 1500 has always been a physical event anyway, but obviously with a lot less room to maneuver and work around athletes, it's even more physical indoors, and that often does hamper athletes when you're right on that red line for 7.5 laps, of course, indoors. So, Duffy Ticini looking very, very smooth out front. She's just starting to question the likes of Temple in second place. Just moving clear, and this is what you want. If you can use these lights to your advantage, she's doing exactly that. Temple looks good in second, though. Going with her is Axel Jacks. Also a 4:34 1500-meter runner. The pair of them two share a lifetime best to the second. And who is going to come out on top? They'll certainly be shaping up. And these athletes, well, Ticini looks like she's just peeled off there. And it's all down to Marie Temple. Ticini must have been a pacemaker, which was not made aware of, so I do apologize. But they're going to come up to what is officially the bell lap outdoors. They'll have 2 laps to run now. This is the business end. Axel Jacks looking good, still in second place. Now she's going to just move by. And this, if you're Temple, this is probably what you want. You need someone to just keep you accountable, drag you round this next lap, but you've got to go with them. You have no choice at this stage in a 1500. But boy, does Jacks look the stronger of the two, and she's just stretching clear now. She's going to soak it up over this last lap and a half. 300 meters to run. She's getting back on terms with the lights. 4:34 her lifetime best. That is, in fact, her season's best as well. She's been in fine form through 2025, and an athlete like this is starting to think about, can I qualify for the national championships? Can I start to potentially in the next 3-4 years make those national finals and compete? She'll be inspired later on by Guillemot in the mile as she attacks her national record. But right now, this is an inspired performance from Jacks. Edging clear, and it's her teammate there in second place, looking very, very strong as well, Eliza Grout. But that gap is going to be far too big. Can she dip inside 4:30? It'd be huge if she can. The women's regional 1500 meters here at the meeting her. And it's going to be Axel Jacks of Normandy who's going to take it inside 4:30, 4:29. And in second there, Eliza Grout. Fine running from her, and that will be a massive lifetime best. And Marie Temple perhaps paying for that early speed in behind the pacer. But that's how you run a 1500, ladies and gentlemen. Quickest lap was the last lap. 2 lifetime bests in the Normandy Athletic Club athletes, and they are just delighted. Temple, their season's best, she'll take that. And more of a 400 runner, has a fine 800 on her, 207 her lifetime best over 800. So just starting to perhaps transition. Another lifetime best from Gillet there. The big one as well, chopping 3 seconds off her mark, 8 off her season's best. There's another season with Reuil, Batila. It's a delight for Jacks. And she nailed it. From a tactical point of view, she absolutely nailed it. And sometimes the fittest person on the day, it's perhaps easier to execute the tactic that you have planned, but she really did. She bided her time, she was patient, and then she really made her move. And this is what was impressive to me, rallying late on in a 1500, making that last lap the quickest, and that is often how you really do find those perfect performances, and today was one of those. A perfect day for Axel Jacks. Well, that gives us a little taste to what's to come in those distance races. Quick summary of those results once again. Mr. out there, training partners, 1-2 for them in the Normandy Athletic Club. Now we turn our attention to the men's 60-meter hurdles. The volunteers trackside, engaging and interacting the crowd, and this is what it's about, keeping the energy high throughout at these meetings. It's always been a European favorite, hasn't it? Get those t-shirts handed out, engage the crowd, and I think it's very, very special. It's what it's about. I mentioned, these European clubs are often, or should be, the blueprint for many other clubs around the world, but I think also the way they host track and field meetings, indoors and outdoors, that too is a bit of a blueprint for the rest of the world. But it helps when you have an infused, educated crowd like we have here in Reuil. Well, it looks like Sonic the Hedgehog showing off his speed. Wonder if we're going to see him in the 60. And the athletes will be appreciating this as they're going through their final preparations. Well, here's Chris Nielsen. He looks ready to vault here. Like I said, coming off that 6:01, getting very, very close to his lifetime best of 6:05. Former Olympic Games silver medalist back in 2021. World champion silver and bronze medalist. And over from the US, getting his poles out. He'll have a selection of those, especially he'll need those longer ones for a little bit later on. You can see this is each athlete will have a bag of poles, and that's what they have to travel with. Very, very difficult to have to rely on those flight companies to deliver. Well, here we are then, junior men, shall I say, 60-meter hurdles about to go down. Introduce a few of these men who are the pinnacle of club athletics here in France. Van on the inside. Titois de Robert. He goes in lane 2. Theo Abou in 3. He knows what he'll have to do. This is just a one hit out for these men. There's no heat, there's no final. This is the final. Christian Colley, very, very strong hurdler. 12 lifetime best. And Sami Ludababa, the Spaniard, coming over here. Can he potentially dethrone a few of these Frenchmen? Look out for this guy, Nzungo, Jeremy Nzungo. Very, very strong hurdler. Certainly will be looking at this to walk away with victory. Of course, these men jumping over or hurdling that 99-centimeter height as opposed to that the 107. Enzo Mayuma of Belgium, he goes in 7th. Wearing those Normandy Athletic Club colours. And Derusso, Valentin Derusso right on the outside. Doesn't go. Just 19 years of age. All of these men under 20. He has a phenomenal lifetime best of 7:72 indoors. That was last weekend in Nantes. He's certainly one to watch. 2 races on the same day and won both back on the 25th of January. The under 20 men, 60-meter hurdles, final. Vanak, De Robert, Rambu, Colley, Ladababa, Nzungo, Mayuma, and De Rosso on the outside. What a clean start from all. Who's going to rise first? Nzungo looking very, very smooth. He's just starting to edge clear now. He's into his running. Boy, does he dominate. 7:70. That'll be a season's best and a lifetime best if it's official. 7:71 for him, and it's a season's best as well. Very, very strong, and there's a cue by their name, and this is confusing because I was not aware that they have a heat. It was due to be a straight final, but perhaps they'll just get another run out. Nzungo, Reuil Baba, and Vanak. Those are your top three. And just look at this then. Nzungo, well, he's level with the rest of the field at this stage, isn't he? Reuil on his outside, and just pulls clear when he gets to top speed and hits that full flight rhythm. He is a pleasure to watch. And what's more, you know, I mentioned these hurdles are a little lower. They're 99 centimeters, but when he goes to the high hurdles, you're looking at his form and the way he's negotiating these. He's very tall and he's very rangy, and you think, you know what? He will have a bright future. So, super from all of those men, and yeah, I can confirm they do not have, well, they do have a final later on, but all of them are qualified, so they're just going to get, there's no qualification process, which is what I meant to say. It's a little bit confusing for us, I do apologize. And Nzungo will be looking to improve on that mark. Well, next on the track, the women's high jump final will be getting underway on the infield, and we have the we'll have the women's 400 meters regional race get underway. And there you are then. Surprisingly enough, no French women will partake in this women's high jump competition. So they come in, there's Jansone, just 19 years of age, already jumped 4 times this year in 2025, 184 being her season's best. 188 her lifetime best, coincides with the national under-20 record as well of Latvia. Savonini of Italy, 186 the season's best, so very, very close. Second those Italian championships last year. Here comes Turi, picked up a win last weekend in France, went to those European championships, made the heats, didn't quite make the final though. The Finn. Sebastian, an athlete to watch out for, 192, her lifetime best. Qualifying for the Olympic Games final, by the way, where she finished 10th. That was a big step up for her. Emily Borthwick, very promising athlete, 195 back in 2022. Has had a rocky couple of years. I think she'll be first to admit that. It's not always plain sailing in this sport. It's what makes the highs even higher. And now she'll look a new slate into 2025. Morgan Lake as well, British record holder, 199. And quite frankly has had a fantastic career in the sense that she was a phenomenal junior. A lot of pressure on her and still delivering at a senior level. Lamara Distin of Jamaica, the only 2-meter jumper in this field. That's her lifetime best, the Commonwealth Games champion. You're looking at her right now, 4th at the NCAA, came through that collegiate system, which of course produces so many of the world's best athletes. You can't argue with it. Time and time again does it deliver. Jamaican champion. So a fantastic field in this women's high jump. It'll be interesting to see where the bar goes, and this early on as well. It really is anyone's competition. It's probably there for the taking. The likes of Lamara Distin opening up her season as well. To the crowd away. You see the blocks out for the women's 400 meters. That world indoor record of Femke bolts. Always something, 49.17. World lead, by the way. Lamisha Ford, 51.20. These women getting psyched up, getting their spikes on. Getting ready to get those practice jumps in before they start. So, you are in the women's 400 meters. In lane 1 there, Picard, 57.63, and a lot of athletes in that region, by the way. Pauline Terrell, 54.36, head and shoulders above the rest. Muchao, another athlete to look out for. She'll go in lane, well, she's got lane 2 on her. And Mahishi just says lane 5. Here's Toriel, 54.36, at lifetime best. Algeri, another athlete, flirting with that 58-second barrier. Can she dip below? This is the competition to do it. And in his follow-up, 58.67, another athlete in that region. And then Camille Picard, out she comes. So these athletes will find their lanes. They'll obviously have 2 laps of the track, and with the 400, it's one of the few events indoors that definitely is considerably slower than outdoors. The banks are so aggressive, and depending on the indoor track as well, that can obviously make a difference. It is a completely different style of running. A different type of athlete suits indoors more than others, and I think it does open up a lot of opportunities for athletes too when we think about the European Championships, the European Indoor Champs and the World Indoor Champs, to try and qualify. And a lot of 400 runners do actually pass on an indoor season altogether. And just because the nature of the banks, and does it potentially risk injury? They might be choosing to just work on their endurance through this period of the season as well, especially when you've got the likes of the World Championships in Tokyo right at the end of our summer, in the September time. There's Algeri. Now she'll have Terrell on her outside in 4, and if she can just keep her in her sights and potentially just let her cut across her, slot in behind, she's going to be dragged around on that final lap. Much easier said than done, of course. But what you don't want is you don't want to wrestle a match at the break. That's important. It often happens. Especially 400 runners are not used to sharing a lane. They're very much able to focus on their own race and execute. And that is a difficult thing in the 400, is to really try and just measure that first lap, or, outdoors in that first 200. Well, they're waiting patiently, these women. They line up for this 400, 2 laps of the track. 51.80. I mean, this is the regional race, so we won't expect to see that meet record go of Natasha Hastings in 2013. Some of the meet records here lasting over a decade. An incredibly long time, especially when you think how Shutek has advanced in that period, even for these sprinters. That, as they take to their marks. Folio goes in 2. So clean start, just like you would expect in this women's 400. Eyes on Agari and Tureli in 4. She's going to look to eat up that stagger. And you know what, Ron, on the outside, Munchao moving very, very well, holding them off at the moment, as well as Ninat. This is the bend where it counts, so this is where things start to change and really shape up. And the quickest in the field, Pauline Torelli is leading the way. Munchiao tucks in behind. There's a couple of seconds in between it, but she's having it all her own way at this stage. 26-1 through 200. She's just got to pour it on. She's going to have an opportunity to relax a little bit as Terrell down the back straight. Gather herself. She hasn't got someone on her shoulder pressuring her. Then she can look to execute this final 100. She's doing just that. What's she got left in the final 50? Coming off the top end, Torelli, there's no doubt about the winner. In second, a little bit further back, Munchiao looking strong. But Torelli's going to take this. 54-42. Very, very close for a season opener. Could not have been much closer to her lifetime best. And that is surely going to be under threat throughout the rest of 2025 in this indoor season. And it bodes well for the outdoors as well. Well, there you are, season's best for her. That was always going to be a given when she hadn't opened up her season yet. But that's a nice way to run, and she'll look at that. And with competition, could she have gone quicker? Sometimes it can hamper you. The benefit of being out front like that, she had a clear run, and she could run her own rhythm as well. She didn't feel pressured into going with the leader at any point because she was that leader, quite frankly. Munchiao in second, 56-32. Lifetime best for her. Great running. In similar fashion, she did have a clear run, just like Terrell on the outside. And here you go. This is where she sort of announced herself at the head of the field and started to dictate things over that remaining lap. Munchiao, this is down on that bottom bend and just looked very, very strong the whole way. Oh yeah, Munchiao, 56-32, down in third. Jada Gari, 58-19, just outside her lifetime best. Camille Picard as well in his folio there. Borthwick goes clear. 175, second attempt. So perhaps a little rusty to start her competition here today, but goes clear and makes light work of it as well. So does Janssen, Turi, and Sebastian. And Morgan Lake and Distin choosing to pass right start as well. The likes of Distin's been up at 2 meters. She won't be worrying about 175. I expect to see her enter the competition maybe low 180s, maybe a little bit higher if she, depending on how she's wintered and what she wants out of this competition. Sometimes athletes will come in and literally just want as many jumps as possible. Can they find their rhythm, just see where they're at? And some will really want to just push and get a true assessment of what shape they're in. And they'll be able to do that, especially if she passes these first few rounds, sort of save herself. You've often got about, 7, 8 jumps in you when you really start to, and then after that, starts to get very difficult when you do start to tire a little bit.
Présentation du 400 mètres masculin, une épreuve proposée par notre partenaire, la boulangerie Le TP.
In contrast to that women's 400-meter final that we just witnessed, we only have 3 in this men's final, but Paul Auguste Aki, 47.5 lifetime best, is the fastest of the 3. He's certainly looking relaxed coming out of here, isn't he, being introduced to the crowd. Normary Gilliard then, 48.19, 49.7, just dipping inside 50 seconds this year. We'll look to break that 49 barrier. James Curcio then getting a huge reception from the crowd. One can only presume perhaps the locals. So these men ready to rock and roll in this 400. And again, in similar fashion to that women's race, they'll probably be quite grateful there's only 3 of them. It's less bodies to fight, work around. This women's high jump. Janssen going for 180, so straight up 5 centimeters above. Ooh, just coming down on a little bit. Looks like she's got it in her locker though. Slight adjustment to that run up. A little bit more aggression at takeoff. Perhaps it's always difficult to just strike that balance between trying too hard and staying in that kind of relaxed state. That's, of course, when you're going to get your best jump. And just trusting your training. So these men just adjusting their blocks. Always difficult when you're up out in lane 6. And that steep bank. It's something they certainly would have trained on. That is a fine clearance from Turi there. That really is. Ahead of Turi to finish international, representing them at the European Indoor Championships 2 years ago. We'll look to do that again in 2025. And when that first time clearance, she leads the way. She will be under threat. She will have stiffer competition once the like of Morgan Lake and Lamara Distin enter this competition. But she is fresh off a win, is Turi, last weekend.
Faut me changer.
Emily Borthwick went clear at 175 on her second attempt. She'll now look to do the same at 180. However, just a jump earlier. 180, first attempt for Borthwick. Ooh. Well, I was about to say, interrupt and say she's gone clear. It's likely she will in those next few attempts, although anything can happen. But that was a very, very promising first attempt for Borthwick. And 181 season's best. She'll want to improve on that this year already. So this men's 400 looks like it might be set to get underway. Meeting record, Janicic 46.95. We'd have to witness some big PBs for that to go down. With Curcio on the inside. Gilliard and 5 there. Let's see, 48.92, his lifetime best, and Aki on the outside. So where these men go, and that is an aggressive start from Gilliard, already up on Aki on the outside. However, he will have the bank in his favour when he comes around this top bend. He'll be able to gather a bit of momentum coming off this turn, going into the second lap, and he's going to want the inside line. He's going to want to be in front, and with that long rangy stride, he doesn't want anyone in front of him, and Gilliard is just going to have to tuck him behind. He won't mind that either. Will he attack him? Where will he choose to attack him? This is the question. Will he do it on the back straight? He certainly looks like that. He's certainly looking like he wants to get up on his shoulder. Will he pay the price? Oh, coming off this final bend into the home straight as he slots back inside. It's been all Ake at this stage, tying up a little bit, but so is Gilliard, and Ake is going to go clear comfortably in the end. 48.72. Gilliard under pressure from Curcio on the line. And that is very close, well, half a second off his lifetime best, and he had to work for it, didn't he? He really did, in a sense that he had to hold off. He probably went through that first lap a little bit quicker than he really would have liked. And due to that, of course, tied up, but Gilliard just ran him. He couldn't help but thinking he's run himself into the ground there. We'll get those official results shortly. As you can see, 48.74, that's the official time. Curcio has been rewarded second place. James Curcio 49.39, and Gilliard fading on the line to grab third. And perhaps the crowd, Curcio had a fantastic reception when he walked out. The crowd just willing him on there, carrying him around that top end. Well, then the men's pole vault competition, out they come, being introduced. They've done their warm-up, and now it's all business. Put the tracksuit back on, and then the competition will be starting. Well, there's Nate Richards, athlete to watch out for, another American here. We have a plethora of them. Daniel Keaton. He had a fantastic 2025. Big Keaton, 582, his lifetime best, fourth of those Olympic trials. So close to getting on that plane to Paris. Cole Walsh. Well, man, his lifetime best coming back in 2019, so a few years ago now. Can he get back to that form? Jacob Woodson, an athlete who did qualify for Paris in his 590 lifetime best, also back in 2020, but starting to really find that form again. And Ben Brode as well, he's a regular on the circuit, isn't he? He's a fantastic athlete. He won in Dortmund. I was there on that occasion, 572. That sort of got his season underway. Well, now he's up and running. What can he do here? Reuil. And Thierry Baptistin has improved on his lifetime best. 580. 575, equal lifetime best as well. Last weekend's ninth of those European Championships in Rome. Very much, he's an athlete who is starting to look at trying to compete against the best of Europe. And Chris Nielsen, we've seen him enough already, but he is in fine form. 6:01 just a couple days ago. We would love to see a 6-meter vault here. And he's the world leader and the meet record holder also from 2021, 580. Surely that is going to go down. We'd be stunned if it didn't. So the pole vault, the men's pole vault, promising great things throughout the afternoon. Well, the men's 1,500 meter start list then. This is the regional race, and we have a whole host of men in this one. It is going to be absolutely packed when they come out of here. So there you are, Hugo Monnier. Nothing to look out for. I believe he's going to be pacing. I can't be certain, but I do have a feeling he'll head to the front and pace this one at the Paris Athletics Club. Plenty more of these men coming out. All of them are lifetime best in that sort of 345 to 350 territory. Some a little slower, some a little quicker than that. And start to announce himself. Hugo James is certainly an athlete to watch. He's a 348 runner at his very best. But, also the Guri, Sacha the Guri of the Montreal club. He's 345. He is the fastest on paper, but doesn't always indicate a victory. So these men will have a lot of bodies to battle throughout 7.5 laps, and it's something, you know, through all the training sessions they would have done, you just can't replicate. And positioning is going to be key, trying to work your way up through the field, and battle as well, and it's going to be very, very important. Here we are, it's going to be packed 2 starts. It's going to be a waterfall start for these men. Well, here we are, getting a little bit of discussing with the officials what is going to take place here and where these athletes are going to line up. You can see them just juggling themselves.
Reuil. Nathan. Pierre.
Well, this really is great to see. It's almost like a behind-the-scenes documentary, isn't it? We're seeing what these men are going through. Reuil there. bib 10. And Normandy Athletic Club, it was Axel Jacks who went on to win, and of course, women's race. There was a 353 performer, and you can see these men then, they are just starting to, I think there's just going to be 2 rows of them. Some will be just tucking in behind, and they'll have 2 banks of 10 or so. What a field, I must say, and we hope that they've seeded it correctly in a sense that, you know, the fastest will not be seated right at the back, and they will in fact be seated a little bit further up. A little bit further up on that front row. And it's worth noting these athletes will be targeting that qualification time for the French Indoor Championships. Can some of them sneak into that and go up against some of the best? We saw, by the way, reports on French athletics. Jimmy Gressier, 13 minutes last night over 5,000 meters. He really did set the Stade de France alight this summer, and French distance running full stop. I mean, they have winners in the 3,000 meters steeplechase at European champs, the 800 at European champs. It was just, you know, medals in the 5,000, and the likes of Scrub winning European cross-country championships back in 2023. It is in a fantastic place. It really is. The coaching, the club sets up is very detailed. They don't miss a beat in France. And they train specifically for the event they wish to partake. So the men's 1,500 meters. Regional competition. One other athlete to look out for, Elias Juez of Belgium. Set to go on the inside. So off they go in this men's 1,500 meter regional race. The world record of 3:30.60 and the world leader 3:35. I don't think will be under threat in this one. We'll see what these wave lights start to operate at. I think they're going to be in that 3:45 territory. Look at that, red light 3:52, green light 3:41. It'd be great to see a few of these men attack that. The only one I'm thinking might really have a good shot at that is Sacha Leguri of the Montreal club, and he's just looking a little bit further back now than originally planned, and you can see all sort of 18 of these men just shuffling around, just trying to find their position at this early stage. It is the pacer out front, Hugo Monet, and the Parisian University. He's just stringing things along here. And Nathan Devaney, 3:54, man. I don't believe that is him in second. It's very difficult to ID these men. I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I am trying to look at their numbers just like you are back at home as well. We'll have to get a closer look before we go announcing who's leading the way. This is fast. 74 then through that 500 split. 29.5 on the 200, of course. Relatively easy work for the pacer out front. He's got those green lights to the left of him, looping round on the inside lane. And this is very, very strong running. Some of the, there's quite a few professionals who would be happy with this early pace, and they could kick off with that. And we haven't seen too many go below sort of 3:40 on a European level at the moment. So, Pierre Lenoir then. 5 lifetime best. He's up in second. He's looking smooth at the moment. And this race now really stringing out in this men's 1,500 here at the meeting in Val de Reuil, just an hour outside of France, of the capital, Paris. And I believe this might be Busquets up front. He's a 3:44 performer last year in 2024. Certain of it, but he's looking very smooth, and he really is piling it on. He's a steeplechaser as well by trade, Well, 2:29 through that first 1,000 meters. They are on. Sub 3:45 is on. 3:41 is certainly slipping away. Those who have just been a little bit more patient out there might be in a better position to really attack this last 500, and you want to be able to pour it on. 400 to go in this men's 1,500. 2 laps, 31.1. That's the slowest 200-meter split of the race. It's strung out. There's men fighting for every position, every second at this stage now. And is it? I asked the question. We are not 100% sure. Sasha Liguri up at the front. 3:45. His lifetime best. 3:51 season's best. So he's looking to annihilate that. Or is it Busquets? Either or. 3:14 with a lap to run. That was a 29.7. And that is why you're seeing this big lead open up now, coming into the final lap, into the final 150 meters. He'll be eyes on the home straight. Those are chasing him in behind. He's moving well, and he's pulling clear, and surely this is a lead now which will not be contested coming off this final turn. He is eating up those green lights. You can see him. That's what he's hunting. The rest of them are trying to hunt him down, but he's going to take it here in the men's 1,500 regional race. 3:44, and he came back at the end. He pulled it back when it slipped in the middle there, and that was a great run from him. Taking that, and the rest of them will file in behind, and we'll get confirmation through the Victor ones. There we are. Marquez de Andrade, and it was Lafleur in second. We've got season's best, we've got lifetime best, and that is what you expect to see. And you can see what a 1,500 has done to these men. Multiple lifetime bests, in fact. 3:46, 3:47. Top 4. Lifetime or season's best. And that really is what we expect. So Marquez of Andrade, the athlete from Bordeaux, takes the victory. Yeah, Reuil, he did just look a little bit, he looked a lot easier, didn't he? He was comfortable at this early stage, and really through that half a mile, through that first 1,000 and 1,500, yes, you're running fast. Yes, you're very close to oxygen depth, but you are able to just coast and hold it, and then you really have to go to work that last 500. That's when the body floods itself. Multiple PBs then, and it showed with the green wave light technology, the red wave light, even those further back can attack that lifetime best and those seasons best. Potential qualification marks they would have liked. Well, from the 1,500 to the women's 60, it's all about speed in this final. Where we go to Bianca Williams. Fantastic in qualification. Often a 200-meter runner outdoors. Loves to sharpen her speed. Certainly an athlete to look out for. A bit of a late entrant to this meeting. Mariah Perez then. What can she do? Starts very, very well. At least she did in the heat. However, fell apart a little bit. This lady didn't know. Delphine Nicanza, boy. She struck hard and fast in that heat, dominating her heat 2. Jemima Joseph then. Very, very close on the line. Stay composed. He's going to need a little bit more in the final if she's to win on home soil. Emmanuelidou, 7:24. Lifetime best and season's best in qualification. Pipped it on the line against Joseph and Perez. Bazzolo then. Portugal, 7:17. One of the few athletes who have broken that 7:20 mark. Again, for a lot of these women, it is worth talking about that European qualification mark in the 60 is 7:20 or 11:05 outdoors, which Jemima Joseph has done. 11:01, of course. Maroon Ducone then. Côte d'Ivoire. What can she do? So, Williams, Perez, Nicanza, Joseph, Emmanuelidou, Bazzolo, Pierrick Linden Mill, and Kone as well. So this is what happened in the heats. This is a story. This was heat 1. It was Perez, Joseph, and Emmanuelidou Came through, dipped on the line. And you could see her, she was relaxed at the most, wasn't it? Joseph under pressure, Perez. Arrow formation, those three leading the way. And then heat 2, it was all about Kone. Bianca Williams and Bazalu got good starts, but Kone edge clear, pipped them on the line. Another heat, which was pretty much another dead heat. These women come into this final with the 10th of the second between the whole field. And then how about this then? Nikanza dominates start to finish. Edges clear. Fantastic mid part of the race. Right through to the end as well. Running straight through that line. It was a fine run from her. The Belgian. So we have 8 athletes in this, all from different nations. And who is going to come out on top? It's early on in 2025, ladies and gentlemen, but we are 4 weeks from the European Indoor Championships. The indoor season is coming to its climax. The national championships are around the corner as well. Qualifying marks need to be hit. Races need to be run. And interestingly, due to qualification, obviously the seeding, we have Bazalu in there. Emanoludidu in there. Williams right on the inside, which I think she'll enjoy. And just to be able to run her own race from the inside. But often that arrowhead formation you see in sprinting, I think is going to be tossed out the window in this one. The winner could come from absolutely any lane there is. Moulin as well in 7, so it's just very, very tight. But someone like Jemima Joseph is really going to be the hometown favorite. The only French woman in this. Paris Olympian in the 100, 200, and 4x1. Starting to make her claim, her bid towards the fastest French sprinter. So Williams, Perez, Nikanza, Joseph, and then Ludidu, Bazalu, Moulin and Kone. What a way we go in. Nikanza looked very, very good in qualification. Can she replicate that here? She had a fantastic finish to the race. Perez inside of her. Nikanza on the line. 7:15, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. That'll be a lifetime best, all right. We'll have to wait for the official times, but it was Nikanza. Joseph as well. Perez was in there, but you couldn't help but look towards the Belgian in 3, as soon as she started to edge clear, it was deja vu from the heat that we witnessed. And we knew then, 7:17 into a lifetime best. It's an equal season's best for Perez, 7:21. And that's a European indoor qualifying mark, ladies and gentlemen. She'll be certainly there in Apeldoorn bidding. Potentially trying to attack and medal at those European indoors with form like this and only getting faster. And I should mention, this was a very, very quick turnaround for these women, just an hour or so apart from the heat and the final. Perez and Joseph, once again, they were so tight in the heat. Bazalu there, and once again, very, very tight in the final, inseparable almost. Look at that, a thousandth of a second between them. And Nikanza, you could just tell she had the momentum, I think, over the rest. Even getting out the blocks when she was a little bit behind. Perez is a fantastic starter. If she can just string that last 20 together, she will be featuring as well at those European Indoor Championships. So will Joseph, and all three of those enjoying their indoor season so far. And there's Kone. He finished down in 7th with a 7:35. So there's confirmation of those results. Season best for Bianca Williams as well in 6th. It's Joseph, Perez, and Nikanza, your top 3. Ben Brodus then gets his pole vault competition underway here in Reuil. Oh boy, that's comfortable. cruises from Brody. What a season's best of 572. I mean, that looked very, very comfortable. And surprisingly enough, the likes of Nielsen, who jumped 6:01 a couple of days ago, has opened up his campaign here in 5:32. You would almost think he would be waiting to the sort of 5:50s, 5:60s to just enter the competition and really get amongst it, but interestingly not. And also keeping warm, he's got the layers on. As he gets ready to vault, I will give you a few updates as well on the rest of the men and where that bar is going to go to. A lot of first-time clearances, in fact, all first-time clearances so far. Only man who struggled a little bit at 5:32 was Daniel Keaton. He is now trying to go clear at 5:42, he does. A good vault from him, so he stays in the competition. And certainly you would think the business end of this competition will be 580 plus. That's Tavares to predict when things start to get a little trickier. However, the women's 800-meter B final. The athletes will be welcomed into the arena, introduced. So, follow to the count for 2:14.46, her lifetime best. Willinger also here. Choice 7, her lifetime best. One of the favourites in this one. This on. 2:10 as well. This is high-class domestic racing. All these women. It's going to be packed though, similar to that men's 1500. They don't find themselves single file early on. It's going to be very difficult for them. There's going to be a lot of pushing and shoving, and obviously a lot less time to kind of calm down, find your rhythm, and also if you need to make moves, you haven't got that many opportunities in 800. Many say you have one move in 1500 and in 800. Very much like they're not so much moves, but just good positioning, because for you to really step on the gas in an 800, you are already right at the limit, and you really can't pay the price. If you get it wrong, it can be game over. So then the women's regional 800 meters set to go. Women's high jump also taking place at the moment. We'll bring you a few updates from that. You can see a lot of these athletes sharing lanes. So Leah Tabari, bib number 1, she's on the outside. We can only presume she's going to help pace and get things underway. Lilou Jolly, it's her 18 performer. Well, these are some of the big hitters then. Ronan and Palico. Ronan's a 2:10 performer. So Bellinger. Bellinger is an athlete who has run 2:10.1 already this year, and the only athlete in the field to go below 2:10, bar Valmarin. And there is Valmarin, a huge talent, a 2:9 performer. Lifetime best and season's best this year. She's accustomed to racing at her very max. These women then that have a lot of nerves, not often will they be performing in a stadium like this. We're in the Jesse Owens Stadium. You are watching the European Tour circuit here in Val de Reuil in France, an hour or so outside of Paris, northern France. Lovely quiet town, athletics at the beating heart of the community. You can see crowds stretched around this arena.
Hold your marks.
To the gun sounds and away they go here in Reuil at the Jesse Owens Stadium in the women's 800, and it is Amber Valmarin who looks to move fast and get out early, perhaps instructed by her coach. Just don't get into trouble. You need a smooth run, but a 14-ish first 100 is very, very swift for these women. They're going to have to settle it down a little bit, and you're putting yourself under threat if you're out there right in behind the pacer, who's going to take them through 200 in an aggressive 29.9. Boy, oh boy, some of these women will be flooded with lactate later on. That's exactly how they want. They wouldn't have it any other way. But to be honest, it's a good thing because it has stretched things out. They're well ahead of those green lights at the moment. We expect them to be around 2.8, 2.7, miles ahead. Or are they just on them? We can see around that top bend. Pace is doing a good job. And these women haven't had to think about positioning or any sort of tactics so far. It's just get in there and hang on. And it's full gas from the offset. So Valmarin is the fastest this year. Will she carry on and prove it, or will someone beat her today? She has got the likes of Pisson right in behind her. Elise Pisson looking strong, and Belinga as well. Both of those in this one. Pisson of the Reuil Athletic Club, and there's this Valmarin just starting to stretch clear now. Now that's a gap which, if you were Pisson, you wouldn't want to open up. You wouldn't want that gap to get any bigger. Valmarin, where's her strength at? Can she hold her off? Going into the final 200, it looks like she's continuing to just edge clear. 135. Of course, the slowest lap of the race is often that third 200, but it's often the most crucial as well. At that point, who could stay engaged? Look at Valmarin going to the arm. She really is stretching out, lengthening her stride. It's amazing she can still do this so late on into an 800. And you're starting to put your money on her now. Coming off this top bend, the French woman is going to take this regional 800. She came in with the fastest season's best. And boy, has she done it the hard way here. Watch the clock. She's going to take it on the line. 2:8.98, and that unofficially will be a lifetime best. Pisson, I think, just faded at the very end. And she may well have got pipped on the line too. Folio was looking strong. Let's confirmation. It was Peronian, wasn't it? 2:09.71, so a lifetime best for her. 2:09.01 for Valmarin. And you think she paced that slightly better. She's got a 2.8 shiny PB in there. Potentially more to come. Great racing from all the above. 2:09 from Valmarin, and it was a competition, wasn't it? It really was, as the sun sets outside here in France. Men's triple jump competition starting to warm up, and they'll start to get going now. There he is, FA Reuil. British triple jumper, also very, very strong with the long jump, 785, worth noting. Interesting pivot for him to, looks to be committing to the triple jump. Maffei as well, 813 long jumper, he's getting involved in the triple jump. Ujipek, Turkey. 16.77, his lifetime best, the Balkan indoor champion. Raffin, he'll have a lot of support, won't he? The Frenchman, national under-20 record holder, back in 2017, won the French championships just last year, like 6th at the World Indoors in 2022. For Santos, the Brazilian, great to have him here. 17.53 lifetime best. Interestingly, a man who can also do both 218 high jumper. That's no joke. Go Goyden, 17.38 at the European Championships last year. Third there, picking up that bronze medal, rather impressive. Martinez, 8th in the world, 17.64. He's the heavy favorite coming into this. And World Indoor Champion back in 2022. Couldn't defend last year, and have an opportunity to reclaim it, you think, in 2025. So that's the men's triple jump. They enter the stadium here, but we have a final coming up. The under 20 men's 60-meter final. And interestingly, they had a qualification round. It wasn't really a qualification round. It was all the same athletes who performed in the heat. So all of them qualified. It was just an opportunity to give them 2 races here, which is great to put them on this stage. Well, there's Collie, an 8:18, 60-meter hurdler. Of course, the hurdle's 99 centimeters. Those who are just joining us and didn't get to watch their heat, Vanak was strong. You see, but not as strong as this man. He was mightily impressive. Jeremy Nzungo, as he enters the arena here, he's the most relaxed out of the bunch, but 7:71 he ran in the heat. That was his season best, the personal best as well. He just looked so fluent, and once he got into his speed, no one could get near it. One of the closest men to challenge him, though, was Reuil of Spain, 7:95. He is the one other man to have broken the 8-second barrier. Tituo, Durabay, and in the arena as well. He goes in lane 1. He'll have to eliminate the distractions of those field events taking place to his left, but this man, mightily impressive. Setting up his blocks. Look at that. A consistent way to do it. Some use tape measures, some are on their hand. You're always going to have those, aren't you? But here he is then, Jeremy Nzungo. You can see those last 2 flights. And that even off of that final flight, I mean, that really was the killer move, wasn't it? Going into that final hurdle. Destroyed Reuil. Neck and neck at this stage. Perhaps just clipping that hurdle, Baba. But, and that one. But flat speed, couldn't contest. Could not contest with Nzungo. And watching this heat back with the same men, you are thinking, you know, surely it's going to be a bit of a replay of that heat. What's going to change unless something drastic happens to Nzungo? These men just going through their final strides, and with the 60 being so short, you can see they virtually do a race, a complete run through. Nzungo having to stop himself from crossing the line in warm up, keeping the officials busy. See, there'll be an official on each hurdle as they go. But there we are on the outside there, Mayumi Enzo, Belgian, wearing the Normandy Athletics Club colours. You have to hang in there, 8:74, and get one up on Deruso inside of him. He's got the fastest season's best. A threat from the outside, potentially, wild card. Rainbow and Collie in 6 and 5, those 2 awfully close. And they'll be looking, you can't help but think it is a bit of a contest for the minor places when you look at Nzungo and the way he executed that heat, but also what he's done as well. He is a superb French talent, and we'll have the likes of Just Kwame say competing in a few events time, and then of course, hopefully, in that final later on. And you certainly will be looking up to him. Similar physiques. Similar style runner. Men's 60 meters. Hurdles under 20 men. Derobe, Reuil, Nzungo, Vanak, Collie, Rainbow, Deruso, and Mayuma on the outside. Away they go, it's a clear start. This is a replay of the hit. It was Jeremy Nzinga who started to edge clear through this midsection of the race. He does so again. 7:73. I tell you what, a touch slower, but the competition. Reuil Baba stepped up there, challenged him for at least half of that 60. But he did start, 7:69. Wow. Season's best. He'll be delighted with that. And a PB, he didn't think so. So Reuil Baba really up in his game. 7:86 as well. It was tight. And that's a world lead, ladies and gentlemen, for an under 20 in the 60-meter hurdles. Of course, 99 centimeters. What a bright future this man has. Let's hear from him trackside.
Avec Jérémy Nzougou qui on peut une nouvelle fois applaudir. 7 secondes 69 aujourd'hui, meilleure performance mondiale de l'année chez les juniors. Tu l'avais égalé en série, tu sentais que tu étais en forme, en plus à domicile. Forcément c'est une atmosphère particulière et on a envie de performer dans ce genre de journée.
C'est ça exactement, j'avais hâte de courir aujourd'hui parce que je suis originaire d'Évreux, donc je suis à côté. Je savais qu'il y allait y avoir des proches à moi qui allaient être là sur la compétition et ça me fait plaisir de courir sur cette piste et de sortir ces chronos-là dans un endroit que j'apprécie tant et sur un meeting qui se passe toujours bien, dans lequel il y a une très bonne ambiance. Donc je suis très content de faire cette performance aujourd'hui.
Et oui, il y a un espèce de grand frère qui a lui aussi porté, qui porte le maillot de l'Évreux Athletic Club, juste Kaoumaté qui va courir plus tard. Forcément, c'est aussi un exemple, une locomotive. On a envie de faire pareil et tu l'as prouvé aujourd'hui.
Ouais, c'est ça. Il est là aujourd'hui, il revient d'une période assez compliquée. Donc de grosses perfs, on espère sur ses prochaines courses et écoutez, que du feu et que de la bonne ambiance quoi, allez.
Je suis sûr que tu l'as motivé. Jérémy Nzougou, mesdames et messieurs, vainqueur de ce 60 mètres junior et qui vient d'établir la meilleure performance mondiale de l'année dans cette catégorie des moins de 20 ans.
Fantastic victory for Jeremy Nzougou. You can see that smoke just hanging in the air from the starter's pistol, giving the atmosphere. You can almost smell it, can't you, down there, trackside. Stiff competition. So there's a summary of that result. Superb racing from him. The men's 800 meters will be up next. The B race at least. That will be an all-French affair once again. And then we'll turn our attention to the women's 60-meter hurdles and then the women's 800 meters as well. And really now, you're going to start to see some world-class athletes. There's been a lot of regional and domestic races through the opening half of this meeting here, but the internationals will really come out to play in the next hour or two. And of course, everything concluding with that men's 60-meter hurdles at 7:30 local time. So the men's triple jump worth checking in with as it just gets underway. And Melvin Rafin foul on his first attempt. However, here goes Dos Santos, the Brazilian. 7th at the World Championships back in 2022. That was one of his best years by far. Also 2018 World Indoor silver medalist. So getting on for 7 years ago now, but still going strong. Dos Santos good through that mid phase. Hangs. Where's this gonna fall at? Is that a touch over 16? If it's not a foul, it didn't look like a foul. But you know what's interesting about the triple jump? I think a lot of them do partake in the long jump as well, and there's a lot of talk around simplifying track and field, and quite frankly scrapping a lot of the field events, which would be, in my opinion, a disaster. But I think the athletes are starting to think about, can we pivot to other events? 16-12, season's best in for Almir Dos Santos. Bumps him up to second, leading the way, by the way, is Uzbek, Khan Uzbek of Turkey, and he's 16.25. So a very modest start in this men's triple jump. And we expect to see those marks over the remaining 6 rounds really improve. So here comes then the regional 800 for these men. David Yanis, 152 over there. Simon Germain, 150 lifetime best, 152 seasons best. Starting to build on that. Made. And apply there. 150 runners, so all 6 men, by the way, right down and around that 150 mark. Quickest in the field, though, Theo Thevenet. Here he is. 149.96 is PB. So will he be under pressure to really go with the pace early? Who has set the pace? Is it him? Has he asked for that pace? Thevenet. There's Thierry Baptiste. You can see trackside there. And we'll check in with that pole vault after this men's 800 as they get ready to toe the line. He's going to be on the inside, 7-8. And he's going to have to get out well. Of course, they break over on the back straight. There's a lot of bodies in this men's 800. 2 sharing the lane on the outside. And look like they're sharing a lane in 4 as well. Simon Germain. Just getting word from the officials and just riding out as well. It's often part of it when you're trackside and you're watching these meets as a local. This is the fun part, you know, seeing these athletes not only get out there and compete, but it's how they build and how they prepare. And you can often count the tension. Can't you? You can feel it down there, the sort of nerves that's going through them, the anticipation of the hurt locker they are about to be in. So Martinez by far and away one of the top candidates in this men's triple jump, getting it underway. Or his series underway, shall I say. Cuban ranked 8th in the world. What's this one coming at? I'll wait for it to flash up on the bottom left of our screen. Crowd on home straight have a very good view of it. You can briefly see there from the graphic, worth noting that men's pole vault bar up to 562. This men's 800 then finally looks ready. These men in position. 4 laps of the track. What a race we saw from the win. Valmarin going gun to tape, really. Will we see a man do that? Fastest in the field. Thevenet on the inside. So away these men go. The pace, what will these wave lights be set at? You can see the green light there, 1:48.0. That's what they'll be looking for. That's fast. It's going to be fast enough to string them out. You can see them just wrestling and fighting for positions over on the far side. There's no need to do that. Despite it only being 4 laps, there is a little bit of time to gather yourself. 7A looks good, doesn't he? Slipping right in behind the pacer, but look how far ahead. 24.82. I mean, this is world record pace, ladies and gentlemen. Will they maintain it? You highly doubt it, but they're looking smooth for now. 7A looks fantastic in second. The pacemaker's just going like the clappers to just drag him rounds here. The rest of the field, you can see Alexandre Lapide is in second, just looking to bridge that gap now. They have to remain Amede as well. He's no slouch, a 150 runner. I think everyone's going to suffer a little bit here over this third quarter. 27.4 through that second lap. What can they do on the third lap now? This is the crucial point, and like in absolutely no distance at all, it looks like Lepai is right up on Devaney, who's just having to bide his time. Has he gathered himself, or has Lepai worked hard to get back onto his shoulder? So then here goes Devaney right on those green lights going into this last lap. 120 through to 600, 28.4. Lepai's not going away though. He's still just a meter or so behind. He's going to have to pick his moment to attack, but this is a fine run from Devaney. If he wins this, it's deserving. He went off hard, he strung it out, he asked a question. Devaney, gun to tape, just like we saw Valmarin in the women's race. He's going to do it off of a 24 opening 200, which suggests there's much more in the tank. Goes clear, and he's awarded with a lifetime best, ladies and gentlemen, 149.3. And boy, that young man did it the hard way, but it was impressive. He is one smooth operator. We've got a Tui of Spain to go in that race a little later on, the 142 man, and there was a period in that race where Devaney was on 142 pace for quite a lot of it as well. There you are, Lepai, 150.56, lifetime best for him, 151, season's best Germain. Germain also, I couldn't believe my eyes when these first 200 got underway. Devaney just asking questions, and he almost caught the rest of the field off guard. I think they not panicked, but couldn't quite believe how fast it was. And that young man, even the fact he can go through a 224 and still kind of hold it together, has a lot more to offer in the 800 meters, and I hope he can pace things a little better as time goes on, and has a phenomenal speed background. Great running from him. So then that concludes the 800. I'm not sure where we're going to go next, but, well, Pole good, because worth discussing. Bar is at 562. Quite a few having a problem with it. And Tristan Dupre then. And here goes Keaton Daniel. 562. Not a great scorecard for him, but the important thing is he's still in the competition, and he has managed to climb his way clear on multiple occasions. .562 then the American Keaton Daniel. First attempt, well, he's struggled all afternoon to go clear on that first attempt. The pole vault is a discipline where athletes do gather that information as they go. They make those small tweaks throughout. They maybe change up poles, change where the bars are alongside, impact the depth and everything like that. So, and he's done well so far to make sure he goes clear. But 562, is it a mark too far for Daniel? We'll find out as this competition progresses. Well, here's Raffin, then Melvin Raffin in the triple jump, looking like he's set to go. Frenchman, just 26 years of age, finalist of those World Indoor Champs in 2022, top 6 finish. Looking to kind of seek that form a little bit, the French champion, to be honest, and get back to competing on the global stage. And really it starts with your consistency in meets like this. And that's obvious. Consistently back it up. And in many field events, I mean in all events really, but in many it's being able to do it when it counts on the big occasion. How close can you get to your PB time and time again? And consistently stretch that mark out. Fatigue and everything comes into play, of course. Oh, well, I think he was lucky with that one. He did well to just correct himself, because that could have gone horribly wrong. Would have put a lot of pressure on his knee and shin there. It's, well, it all started with a foul, and then just overpronated a little bit, didn't he? All right, then the women's 60-meter hurdles, heat 1, next on the track. Pierre Sikoska certainly wants to watch bronze medalists at those World Indoor Championships, former European champion of the 100-meter hurdles outdoors. It's Redding on the inside, Bassana here, the Italian. Raina Jones then, the American, certainly one to watch. Semi-finalist at those US trials. Well, here she is then. Pia Sikoska, the pole, for a good few years now, continues. Big start to the top left of her singlet, and you could certainly agree with that, can't you? But, yeah, continues to impress on the European and the world circuit. Enjoys the 60-meter hurdles too. Letitia Baptiste, another athlete to look out for, represented in Paris, knocked out in that repechage round. Well, Tina Lim, 8th at the European Indoors 2 years ago, Dutch national champion. Via Dan and Soa. Very good hurdler, down on 8 seconds, 8:07 as you can see. She gets to that. Well, and here's Elise Ginte on the outside. So women's 60-meter hurdles, heat 2. One can only presume it will be first 3 and 2 fastest losers. 2 to go through on time. We fully expect the battle to come from the likes of Sikoska in 4. Letitia Baptiste also in 5 potentially, but Jones I think in 3 means business here. Jones, 10 races through 2025 already. Staggering amount in the month of January. Clearly recovers well. A different approach to most, and potentially 2 more today. The way they're going in, look out for Sikoska. She comes good at the end. She certainly does, under pressure from Jones and Baptiste as well. The French woman's going to edge it on the line. What a run, 7:90. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will be very close to a lifetime best, and what a time to do it. Letitia Baptiste of France, equal lifetime best. You can see 7:90, and Sikoska had her work cut out for her. 7:78 her lifetime best, but very close to that season's best of 7:91. She gets second, third. Vida Natsoa on the outside. 8:11, equal season's best. So, interestingly, Raina Jones of the US, not at it at the moment. 8:22 season's best, and you would expect her. She was toe for toe with Sikoska through those first couple flights, and then struggled. Vida Natsoa does very well, but no doubt about the top 2 in that one. Sikoska and Baptiste. Baptiste looked good, didn't she? Just more, potentially the more relaxed of the 2. Very self-assured, very confident in what she can produce. Clearly, training has been going very, very well indeed. And that's a good psychological boost for her. Getting 1 up on Sikoska in the heat, heading into the final in just over an hour's time. So there you are, 7:90. Well, the small cues are very confusing because, like I said, yeah, one would presume it is three athletes to go through by right, and then 2-time qualifiers. That would give us 8 in the final. There is just 2 heats in this women's 60-meter hurdle. And next up, we'll have the likes of Leah Armstrong, fastest on paper, 7:81 lifetime best. Martinez then, 16:84. Well and truly clear in this men's triple jump. Look at that. Really getting himself motivated and in the zone for this one. second attempt, and he'll be looking to stretch that out. 1684, yes, he's in the lead, but he'll know he's got a lot more in the tank. 1764 is lifetime best. And triple jump again, you know, a discipline that athletes can jump very, very far indoors. Perhaps don't get that tailwind. That'll be close to 17 meters. Well, to see where that comes in. $17.03. Well, season's best for Martinez. I think he'll be chuffed with the fact that he has actually gone clear of 17. Starting to get up into those realms. And, well, look, there's a few who can go beyond that, so it might not be the winning jump. But certainly a few of them will have to go beyond their season's best. Look, just like Martinez has done. So this men's triple jump just starting to hot up as they will move into round 3. Nelson in the pole vault, though. Good runner from him. He is the current world leader, ladies and gentlemen, and that's why making very, very light work of 5.62 and a perfect scorecard. It was surprised, to be honest, to see him enter at 5.32, given that 6.01 from just a few days ago. But clearly, you know, has the objective of really just getting in a few vaults over the next couple weeks. And I think that's why he probably started a little bit earlier than he usually would, or entered earlier than he usually would. So Faye struggling to get a jump on the board. So just interestingly changing the foul board. See Keaton Daniel going for his second attempt in the pole vault, 5.62. Starting to prove, you know, you do think 5.60, 5.70, that's where it would start to get difficult for a few of those vaulters. A little bit of a tricky spot. But Faye patiently waiting, 8.13 long jumper, one of the few to be at a long jump well beyond 8 meters, and that is impressive. 16.61 is triple jump lifetime best. So he's the African bronze medalist over the long jump. But that 8.13, it is worth noting, with a 5.9 meter wind. And like I said, triple jump, very much the same as long jump. Will enjoy, you know, those PBs will come from a nice tailwind more often than not. So here goes Faye. Third round. Ooh, you can see just of doing a little bit in that mid-section. Was he was doing well to keep upright, actually. It's coming down on it. A foul, anyway. And so 3 fouls for him. He won't be particularly pleased with that. Raffin as well, struggling to get a mark on the board. So this is interesting. He consistently changing the foul board there. Just ironing out that plasticine. It is an electronic. Of course, some competitions have the electronic measurements, some don't. Some go old school. So here's Khan, 16.77 lifetime best, the balcony indoor champion from last year. Consistent jumps so far. That looked good on the board as well, and that looks like it might be around that 16.30 mark once again. And a balcony champion. Yeah, you can see it looked very good on the board, didn't it? And, you know, quite the contrast to the likes of Faye and Raffin, who are struggling to get jumps on the board. He's had 3 very, very consistent jumps. He's got a lot more to play with as well, by the way. 16.20, 16.22 there. Okay, then women's 60-meter hurdles, heat 2. Looks like they are ready to go. They've had a a fair time to get out there and get over a few hurdles and warm up, of course. And Montalban on the inside, but it looks like she won't start. So it's all about Laura Valet. 8:06, that lifetime best French 100-meter hurdler. She's the champion from 2019 and 2022. She was second in the last weekend. Iraji, well, she was looking very, very impressive last weekend, I must say. Also in Nantes, she was crowned the winner. Aaliyah Armstrong, the American, 12:40, her lifetime best outdoors. Third of the NCAA indoors last year. Kamasi, right around that 8 flat barrier. She's going to have to, you would think, dip below that if she's going to come away with an auto qualification spot here. Julie Chalco, a regular here. Season opener for her, 5th at the French Championships last year. Wojciech of Poland. Well, she'll be inspired by Tchaikovsky, won't she? Let's say, yeah, 3rd at those World Indoor Championships. Tchaikovsky. The women's 60-meter hurdles, heat 2, you are looking for a mark around about that 8 flat. By the way, meet record from 2023, Alicia Johnson, 7:82. Is it doable? Maybe not now, but potentially in that final. Aaliyah Armstrong, certainly one to watch. She's talked about that meet record. She has run faster than it. Lifetime best 7:81. So we're held for a long time then in the blocks, but Aaliyah Armstrong has no problem getting out of them. She's under threat though by Kamase, who's looking smooth, runs away with it. 8:03 on the line. Gaida Kamasi, the Italian, the closest to her lifetime best, and she may even put it under threat. That was a smooth run from her. She wasn't the fastest out of the block. Look at 8:01. Wow. Yeah, it wasn't the fastest out the blocks, but did have the fastest middle section and threw up over those last couple flies. Iraji, then the Indian athlete, Indian national record holder and champion, 8:15 for her. So that'll be qualification outright. And Kamasi will be off to prepare for that final because it is a quick turnaround. What we can see here is Armstrong, and with Armstrong's caliber, you would think she was going to pull clear after sort of 2 flights because she had a fantastic start. She looked very good, and then she just didn't look to get up into that top gear, whereas Kamasi did, and she goes on to take it comfortably in the end. But we'll get that angle. And yeah, it was all Kamasi, really, the Italian. Being very, very smooth. There you are, Iraji, Armstrong, Chauku there, and Wojciech down in 5th. I'm not sure why sort of Lex and Laura Valet are not appearing on those results, but perhaps not in yet, and perhaps more work needs to be done scrutinizing that photo finish. So we'll now know which athletes will line up in that 60-meter hurdles final for the women, and you can see Tchaikovska's going to go, well, this is their time qualifier. She's going to go head-to-head with not only Kamasi, but of course Baptiste, who looked very, very good in the heat. She really did, doing the lifetime best. So men's pole vault. Oh, that's a lovely clearance. Fantastic clearance there from Wootton. Still at 5:62, so that bar just edging up slowly. The rest of them go clear as well. There's going to be a lot of men to pray with an equal season's best with 5:62. There is going to be a lot of men laid on in this pole vault competition. De Gooiden, 16:69 round 1, sits in 2nd, and that might be out towards it. It's going to challenge. certainly going to challenge. But, well, it would have done had it not been a foul, quite a meaty one as well. Next on the track, ladies and gentlemen, is the women's 800. And that'll be off in 5 minutes' time. Boy, we have an absolute stellar lineup in that one. So continuing to change the board, roll out the plasticine. Time just making sure that is wedged in place. No accidents on that. And I know with the electronic boards, there has been a lot of controversy over how dangerous it is. Athletes sometimes slipping on those electronic boards. In comparison to that firm wood, their spikes certainly gripping it as they take off. They do get a little bit of a bounce off it as well. And that certainly helps with the joints and the injury profile. Well, here goes Faye. He really has. At this stage, you think he's got to get a mark on the board. You know, 3 fouls. Yeah, fine. Waiting to get underway here. Seeing a few putting their stuff on and bags on as well. I wonder if that's some that exited that pole vault competition already. I saw Dan Keaton, 3 failures. Oh, Keaton Daniels, should I say, 3 failures at 5.62. So he's exited. Cole Walsh is now attempting 5.62 on his 3rd time, so proving difficult. The only men who have gone clear at the moment. Broders with a perfect scorecard, Nielsen with a perfect scorecard. Oh! And that is Walsh, who bows out of this men's pole vault competition at 5.62. And he's worth more than that, 5.83, like I said, back in 2019. But you've got to start somewhere, and he's starting to build. As mentioned, yeah, the only men to go clear. Broders, Nielsen, Wootton went clear at 5.62, and Dupre with an equal lifetime best at 5.62. He sits in 4th. So there's 4 left in this men's pole vault. And now the bar, one can presume, will go up to 5.72. It's gone up in 10-centimeter increments so far. Or will it jump up to, or will it either jump up to 5.75, or will they hover it down on around 5.70? A little bit more of a round number for a few of these men. So we'll be intrigued. Of course, some of them have the collective decision and decide. So we're getting into the business end here, ladies and gentlemen. If you are just joining us, welcome. We are here in Val d'Reuil in the Normandy region, and we have the women's 800 up next on the track. Erin Wallace, Valentina Rosamila, Vero of Swiss. This is all firing. Sarah Mora. You may recognize that surname from Mary Mora. It is the cousin, in fact, and she too has a lightning quick 400-meter time under about Julia Zeroldin. Going to be tasked with pacing these women and being on the money. They will, of course, have those weight lights to work with. Audrey Vero, what a fine 2024 campaign she had. And, of course, even before that, the World Under-20 silver medalist back in 2022. 157.7 national record in 2024. Abazabal of Spain, 2:37, 1,000 she ran just a few days ago. Mildly impressive. Anita Horvath used to be a 400 runner, moved her way up through the distances, now finding her feet over 800, and it's paying off. A 158 lifetime best. Candice Unon then, 53.5 indoor 400 meters just a few weeks ago. 159 lifetime best outdoors. And she did win this meeting, or lifetime best, shall I say, at this meeting in 2023. That is not Sarah Mora. That is, in fact, Valentina Rosamila, 158 lifetime best, semi-finalist at the Olympic Games. And that, I believe, is Sarah Mora, or is it Vivian Chabet? Kiprotich, it might be Kiprotich. semi-finalist at the Olympic Games as well. Here is Erin Wallace. British athlete, trains alongside the Olympic champion Keely Hodgkinson under that same setup with Trevor Painter. Semi-finalist at those European Championships. In Rome last year, hoping for more. Phenomenal junior. There's a few of them, you know, Rosamilia as well, Vero. They're starting to now just announce themselves at the European level in the senior ranks. And these athletes, this could well be, you know, a European heat, a European indoor heat, you know, minus more, of course. But there's a lot of athletes in here who will be fighting for a spot in the final come Appledorn in, what, 4 weeks' time? And this really for them is they'll have a couple cracks at the whip over the next week or two to, one, get the qualification mark, two, really, you know, push themselves and see how that winter training has shaped up and how they're going to shape up into the European Championships or possibly the World Indoor Championships. 202, by the way, is the qualification mark, which is fairly modest for quite a few of these women. So eyes on Rosamilia, Swiss athlete. So away they go in this women's 800 here at the Jesse Owens Stadium. It is Sarah Moore, by the way, who is in here. It's worth noting the cousin of Mary Moore, the 2024 African champion. She was third at those Kenya Olympic trials as well, a world under 20 champion. What can she do indoors? She's had a bit of a cagey start. Sort of just a little bit further back. Now she starts to move up. Rosamilia sits in second. A lot of these women just sitting off a little bit early. That's because it's fast. 28.4. Ladies and gentlemen, you've got the green lights, you've got the blue lights as well. And they'll be looking at a bare minimum of that mark of 202 for the European Indoor Qualification Standard. Horvat's in there sitting in fourth. Guerrero just stalking her as well in fifth. She'll start to move up on her. Rosamilia looks comfortable in second. This is what you want for an 800 on the circuit. You want single file. Let people move late on in this race. Erin Wallace is going to have to follow Guerrero through as well. But Sarah Moore at the moment looking very, very assured and confident out front through that first 400. Still a long way to go in 800 meter terms, but she's round past the pacer. The rest of the pack going to chase her. Rosamilia, here comes Vedo. She had a phenomenal outdoor campaign, especially towards the back end of 2024. And up on the shoulder, she's been moving throughout the whole of this third lap. Up on the shoulder of Moore now. The cousin to the phenomenal Mary Moore, who's very fast over that last sort of 200 and often has a tactic similar to this and comes good at the end. But Vedo is strong. And now she piles it on. She's pulling clear of a world-class field here in France, in Val de Reuil. Horvat's going to challenge for the minor places, but Audrey Vedo, ladies and gentlemen, the Swiss athlete, the national record holder here in France, is going to take this world tour. And a fine, fine run for her. Can she break two? Yes, she can. Oh, just outside. 2 minutes in 34, in fact. So a good run off of a fast early pace. With the women's 800 here, given the caliber of athlete, they're going to need a few more races to really sharpen up. Horvat, 2 minutes 92. Nice season's best for her. And Moore 201, you can see 28. He was the one who went with it to start. Rosamilia as well, just missing that European indoor standard. So she'll have to go again. She'll have to chase that. Vedo boxed it off early on. Basable. And Wallace there, 202.61. So nice season's best for her. And Candice Unon too. So despite the depth, despite the level as well, I think a few of those women just struggled really. It's a bit of a shock to the system out there. It's what you expect. This was a season opener for pretty much all of them. Only Horvat had opened up her campaign so far. The rest of them starting out here in 2025. Getting this new Olympic cycle underway. And I think it was difficult. Vedo was the only one who was able to move up. There wasn't many positional changes. I know Moore started to fall back. She picked her moment on that third lap to move up. And that's the time when people are running their slowest. So if you are going to make a move, the third lap, really that third 200 is the moment to do so. So you are confirmation of the women's 800 then, Orgivello, no doubt about it. 2 flat, 34, just outside that 2-minute barrier, and that world lead, 159.87. Maloney will be under threat, I'm sure, over the next couple of weeks. Nilsson goes clear again, 5.72. He's a man in form. Talk of world leaders. You're looking at the men's pole vault world leader being Christopher Nilsson, all right. Well, here's Gogoy. Foul in the third, but a strong 16.69 in the first. Can he better it? Ooh, close enough, but that will be much closer to the 16-meter mark than it will the opening jump of 16.69. Still sits in second, though. So no one yet to threaten that. Martinez still leading the way as well with 17.3. Well, it's good speed on the runway, but perhaps just a little lethargic through the mid phases there. The hop, skip, jump, and well, that would say a lot as well. The fact he was a long way off that board, maybe 20 centimeters or so. Dos Santos struggling there in fourth, 16.12. You expect more from him, but yeah, they and Raffin, both of them, 4 jumps now and 4 failures. So determined not to change things. So Faye waiting to jump here still, being patient up on the top of the runway. Men's triple jump. You can see this man, he really needs to get a mark on the board. And at what point do athletes say, right, I'm going to play it safe, I'm going to make a very, very cautious change? Maybe I'm just going to cut a stride down in my run-up. And you can see him just chopping the stride a little bit there. I think he's good on the board, surely. And at least he's going to be around about that 16-meter mark. Well, he's clapping. He might be happy enough with this. Where is this one going to come in at? I think he might be happy just because he has actually got a mark on the board. And this one should come in as a valid attempt. You would certainly hope so. 16.06, the season's best. Well, there you go. Finally, Faye gets a mark on the board and he gets his competition really underway. And he'll have one more attempt as we're into the fifth round in this men's triple jump, heading into that 6th and final round. And this is what I mean, talking about how cautious you're going to be just to make sure you get a mark on the board. And that's how cautious. He must have been 30 centimeters off there. And it's only 16.37, which is challenging for third at the moment. Gogoy is in second with 16.69, and Martinez leads the way still, 17.03. So it's Melvin Raffin then. As we turn our attention to, we might not see him jump just because. No, that's good. I was going to say just because we do have those men's 60-meter hurdles, and that arguably is a blue ribbon event here in Reuil. So Raffin He's Sin Fei finally get a mark on the board. Can he do the same? This is a man you expect to challenge. A national record holder, albeit at under 20 level. Just not happening. Not happening for him this afternoon. The French champion. Sixth of those world indoors in 2022. More than capable of coming here and challenging for the win, especially when he sees the likes of, Martinez leading the way. That would be a big scalp for him to beat Martinez, leading the way with 17.03. I mean, Raffin has been up at 17.20. It's clearly nowhere near his best at the moment, and the season's best of 16.15, so struggling a bit. Well, here goes the Pry. 5.72, final attempt. Can he go clear? Oh! You're hoping he can stay in the competition as well. But great bowling from him. You can't ask for much more. An equal lifetime best at 5.62. And he's been amongst the best, amongst the world's best here in Chris Nielsen, Broders, and Wootton. The men's 60-meter hurdles, by the way, will have 2 heats, just like the women did. FA Wafok. 785 long jumper, 1622 triple jumper. Lifetime best. Good range of 4. Now we'll get closer. Two times British champion in 2024 and 2023. But British triple jumping not in the best place at the moment. 29-year-old. So, yeah, he'll look to just get a little bit further up in that 6th and final round. He'll have to get a clean mark as pressure's on for him a little bit. Those hurdles, by the way, they're off in just a minute or two's time. There's a good 10 minutes or so in between events here. It's giving those officials enough time to set up out there as well, Dos Santos, and give these field events a little bit of airtime. So he has chose to pass in 4, which was a strange move. But we do sometimes see it, and potentially just nursing a little bit of a niggle, wants to just reduce the jumps or just feels he's needed just a little bit of a break. So round 5, 16-12. Again, another athlete, 17.53. He sought out at his lifetime best. Former world medalist in there. Dos Santos of Brazil. Can he challenge? 17.03 is Martinez's lead. Where's this going to go? Okay, so it might be an improvement on 16-12, but certainly not enough to have much of an impact on the leaderboard. 16.37 is third. Wow. So far away from that board. 16.05. No improvement then for Dos Santos. Well, here we go. Arguably the biggest event of the afternoon into the evening here in local time. The sun is well and truly set, and these guys are ready to light the arena. Pereira of Brazil then. He goes in lane 1. Brazilian. Using Dos Santos there on the runway. Sure say, well, he ran well in the not last weekend, didn't he? And the Indian champion in 2023 and 2024. Szymanski. The pole. They're well drilled, the poles. They make fantastic hurdlers. They really do. Jacob Szymanski, 5th of those World Indoor Championships last year. He did win in Luxembourg, 7.41. Ariel Manga. Well, this man looked fantastic last weekend, I must say. 7.59, season's best. He ran that in his heat. He came out flying. 8th in the Tokyo Olympic Games final. Couldn't make the final last year, but he is a former European indoor medalist as well. Frame of Cook. Remember Cook. 166 at lifetime best. And Kalwenberg right on the outside, 804, where he's going to have to go somewhere. He's going to live with these men. You're looking at Manga. You're looking at Szymanski as well. Just 22 years of age. He's got a big career ahead of him. He's an equal national record holder with 13:25. And interestingly, he shares that national record holder with Scheidskap, who we are going to see in the next heat. So two Poles here. Not going to get one up on each other, but they both have to make the final if they're going to do so. For Szymanski in 4, Manga in 5, Yefremov in 6. Those are your big hitters. As these men settle into their blocks and the arena goes quiet. Clean start from Alden. It's Szymanski who looks good, doesn't he? A tall, towering pole through the first couple flights of hurdles. He's got to go clear. He's going to take heat 1. 7:53 for Szymanski. Like I said, he won in Luxembourg in 7:41. He's had a good start to his 2025 campaign. And perhaps everyone just a little bit sluggish there, a little bit slower than they would have liked. 7:52 officially. But with that sort of time, you would have thought Manga would run him a little closer. 7:59, it's another equal season's best for Manga. That's 2 weekends in a row. So, and he's not far off his lifetime best either of 7:53. So he won't complain. But he is going to need that little bit more come the final. And you, again, like the women's, we presume it's the first 3 and the 2 fastest time qualifiers to make it through to that final, which will crown off the action here in Val de Reuil. And that will be at 7:30 local time, so in an hour's time. Of course, he's now getting slightly more recovery than Heat 2, but Manga, a clean run right on the outside, but that may have cost him. Yeah, that 5th hurdle there, essentially. But Szymanski dispatching of that heat pretty nicely, pretty easily indeed. Great running from him. Well, then this is it. If Brodus is going to compete with Nilsson, he's going to have to go clear now. And do you know what? This would be a season's best for him. Well, an equal season's best. You know, he did that. Cleared 5:72 in Dortmund. Looked very good there. Took the win. The Paris Olympian. 7th to the World Championships in 2023. That really was a stellar year for him. And as we turn our attention to that triple jump as well. Both going at the same time. It's all going on slightly differently. Ooh, good jump. 6th the final round. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side of the picture, Brodus. Can he go clear? 5:72. Yes! Yes, he can! Wow. Game on, Nilsson. And another equal season's best for him, and he'll be chuffed with that. But now he'll want more. He'll want to go clear. And I think potentially Brodus and Nilsson may exchange a few words in where you want to take the bar next. Nilsson will be a little bit more relaxed about it than Brodus, given that his season's best is 6:01 and he's the world leader. So he'd like to think that wherever the bar goes next, he'll clear it quite comfortably. And we can expect that also. So, Fate, men's triple jump. sixth and final jump. 16.06 came in round 5. It was a cautious jump there, wasn't it? It was way off the board. He had a lot of room to improve. He's going to need the crowd behind him if they're starting to get excited. As this evening's action here in the Jesse Owens Stadium continues. Fate to try and bump his way up that leaderboard. That'll do it. That'll be a slight improvement, you would have thought, at 16.06 if it's a valid attempt. Let's have a look what this comes in at. And I've got it on my screen, 1580. So deceiving camera angle for us. But at least he did get 2 consistent jumps in the end, two clear jumps for Fate. Oh, there's Tina's down there. But one man who has not gone his way is Raffin. Set to go on the runway now. Melvin Raffin, I mean, 5 fouls, really. He'll expect better, we expect better. Can you deliver a valid attempt, Raffin, for this French crowd here today? They've been behind you every jump of the way, but it just hasn't quite clicked. He's had a couple run-throughs as well, hasn't he? Here he goes to salvage something of this competition. Raffin against the odds. He needs this one. The crowd get on their feet. They get behind him. Oh. It looked like it might be another foul, which would be 6 from 6. Yep. There you are. And what went wrong, really, for him? I mean, he'll go back and analyze, but the positives are he's got 6 jumps out. Really, hasn't he? Despite their fouls, he's been in the competition setting, and he's got some jumps under him. And he'll have a rough indication of what shape he's in for sure as well. So heat 2 in the men's 60-meter hurdles. There you are, Gay on the inside. Alongside him, Irabane. Third in Astana in that World Indoor Gold Label event, 7:59 his lifetime best. There he is then, just Kwai Matsai. This man had an unfortunate 2024. Superb start with that World Indoor bronze, but then a ruptured Achilles last spring. Wrote him off for the 2024 season. Any dreams of a home Olympic Games were absolutely slashed, but he's back, and he's a top 10 performer in the world on his day. Well, here's Saiska. Damien Saiska, he shares that national record over the 110 hurdles with Szymanski, who we just saw, 13:25, the pair of them. But indoors, he was second in Astana, which was a fine run from him in the week. Pascal Martineau-Lagarde. Well, the 2016 Pascal Martineau-Lagarde would be a heavy, heavy favorite. Perhaps the 2014 version even more. That's when he set that French national record of 12:95. However, he's still here, and he's still contending. And Job Geets, look out for this man. Can he just hang in there and compete? Two-time national indoor champion, Geets, by the way, 2023 and 2024. Dutchman, 23 years of age. All eyes on just Kwai Matsai, though. He is back. That meet record of 7:41 of Mr. Grant Holloway back in 2021. Can it be touched? Ribane on the inside of Kwai Matsai. Saiska on the outside. Martineau-Lagarde and Geets as well. Oscar Degu on the inside too.
Set.
Just Matei opens up his 60-meter hurdle campaign indoors, looking to defend or even go one better at the World Indoors in his bronze. And he'll certainly be in tonight's final with that run, 7:55. And the win, and this crowd love this man. Time and time again, he comes here and he turns up and he puts on a show for them. And 7:53, well, it was always going to be a season's best. And he'll look at that, and he has got the world leader, Szymanski, to do battle with come the final. 7:66, Szymanski's going to be in there as well. So two Poles who share that national record over the one-turn hurdles will race against one another. A little in-house battle for them. They'll be up against Matei too. He won't want to lose in this stadium. But yeah, he had it all his own way, really, didn't he? Wasn't challenged, got a good start, and then just rifled through that midsection of the race. Sirabani on the inside of him, couldn't live with it. And I think he almost put off the likes of Szymanski the way he's able to just operate that midsection. Pascal Martinot-Lagarde, perfectionist as always. But yeah, he'll know that he's coming towards the back end or the tail end of his career, I'm sure. He's still got plenty of years of racing in him. At third, and he'll have to wait and see if he qualifies for that, or should qualify for that final, actually. In that third place position. No, he's outside of him. We'll have to wait. So, Dos Santos, one more jump for him in this triple jump. 16:37 is the mark to beat if he wants to get up amongst and into that top three. 16:69 is second, and Martinez 17:03. Again, he is capable. He is capable of Brazilian. Getting that crowd going, whether they're engaging and listening, and whether they're to the rhythm that he is demanding, we'll see. But he's going to need them on side if he's going to go beyond that 16:30, 40, even the 50 mark. Dos Santos, he struggled. Oh, it's a bit flat, wasn't it? Very flat indeed, and that'll be below 16 if it's even a ratified attempt. So foul for him there. So disappointing campaign for him. Look at this thing, Chris Nielsen, and I believe the bar at 5:85. Nielsen to go clear, can he? Yes, he can. Comfortable for him, and that's the meet record. A perfect scorecard, and he is on fire right now, the world leader. And he must be thinking about, well, he'll have one thing on his goal, on his mind this indoor season, and that'll be the goal of becoming a world indoor champion. Rosbeck sits in third. That's safe. However, can he challenge for second? 16:69. He's not the quickest on the runway, but boy, can he hang when it counts. And that'll be another consistent jump. Doesn't look to, that won't challenge, I don't think, even 16:37. Good jumping though from Rosbeck. There you are, there's the standings. In the men's triple jump so far, two to jump, Gregorian and Martinez. Well, next on the track will be that men's 800 meters. That's off in just a few minutes' time. And a few names that we will be very, very excited to see. Mohamed Atoui. 1:42.0, 800 meter run, fifth in that Olympic game final. What a talent he comes to town. Of course, we got some French interest as well. Deriba, another one, fourth of the European Championships in Rome. Good 1500 meter run too with Deriba. It's Plesio, 1:44.2 Frenchman, World University Games silver medalist, and represented at the Paris Olympic Games. He'll fight off against the two. He goes go with it. The Frenchman, 16:69. The only question that we ask is, can he challenge for victory? He's going to have to go clear of 17:03 to do so. Or is this very much just a bit of a consolation and just a little bit of a final jump out from him. One foul in the third. He's had a pretty good scorecard since then. They've been building back up nicely. That was good. And, well, it should be beyond 1650. Maybe this camera angle does deceive us a little bit. And we'll never find out. There you go, foul for Reuil. And that means Martinez wraps this one up quite comfortably. You would expect so. He's the best on paper, that's for sure. Rosario Martinez, 17.03 for the win. The men's triple jump, fairly modest. You kind of expect it, don't you, this time of year. So here it is, the men's 800-meter final. They're about to enter this fantastic stadium, the Jesse Owens Stadium here in Val de Reuil. We're in the Normandy region. It's been one hell of an afternoon for track and field action. It really has, but let's get familiar with these speedy men who are going to operate over 4 laps at near maximum speed. Siradowski then, a 145 performer, the pole. Well, there he is, Mohamed Atui. How's his winter gone? Where is he? What sort of a shape is he in? Because 1:42.0, that national record, was just unbelievable. That Olympic final was unbelievable. Leclésio, also of the OAC Athletic Club. As mentioned, third at those French championships, booked his place at a home Olympic Games. What an experience that was for him. Noah Kibet then, a huge talent. One of the few men in this field to have turned up and got a world indoor silver medal. A little while ago though, still just 21 years of age, Kibet. Scary to think. He's been on the circuit for what, 3 or 4 years now already. 17 getting that world indoor medal. Here's Ali Gunad then. The Algerian national indoor record holder, by the way, 1:45, which is saying something. Got the likes of Sajadi outdoors. Diariba, 2019 European indoor champion. He's looking to find that form once again. It's been a little while since he has, but he did fourth at the European Championships in Rome, almost on the podium. We're at then 47.400 on Wednesday. This man, the youngster, just 20 years of age, French under-23 champion. 1:45 outdoors, his lifetime best. So there you have it. Here is the men's 800-meter final. They expect fireworks. From what we saw from the women's race, if we can take anything from it, and you're always going to find in the 800 that you will need sort of 3, 4, 5 races to really get your legs underneath you and familiarize yourself with that hard-hitting intensity of this event. Many as well will not get the opportunity to train indoors for the 800. You get a lot of them who or maybe would have been on training camps throughout January and would have been operating on the classic 400-meter oval. And so the banks maybe a little unfamiliar. Here we go. Men's 800 meters. All eyes on Atui, who was a little bit nervous, wasn't he? A little bit jittery in the blocks there, the Spaniard, who has had a phenomenal last few years. I mean, in 2024, his season could not have gone better. 3 years ago, this man who slots into about 5th there in the race. His lifetime best was 1:52. Fast forward to 2024, he's a 1:42 man over 800. The men's 800 really did take off in 2024. It was something else, 25.4 then through that first 200. The Algerian, Ali Gunad, and Noah Kibet sit in 2nd and 3rd, leading the race, you would argue. Pacemaker doing his job to really string things out now. Leclésio is sitting in behind Atui. You would think those two are going to attack. It's Schmidt there. Atui now starts to move up, and just look how he shifts down a gear, just cycles his legs over so much quicker. 51.0. Through 400 meters, Spain have the world lead at the moment as well. But Atui now stalking Kibet the best he can. This is what he does. He just comes with a late run. It was Canales, his 144 from a few weeks ago, which is the world leader. Tui would have looked at that. He knows he's going to have to go up against him at those Spanish championships in a couple of weeks. 117 then at 600. That world record indoors, 142. Wilson Kipketer back in 1997, but at Tui, these men are absolutely flying. Noah Kibet now showing the form he had when he took that world indoor silver medal from a few years ago. The youngster still just 21. What could Tui do then on the home straight? Can he go clear? He's shifted up. He's overtaken someone every lap. He's going to get Kibet on the line, is he? Oh, 1:44.97. Hands down a meet record. Oof. Well, they just faded, didn't they? Kibet with the meet record, 1:45, apologise, 97. That's my excitement shining through. Atui's 1:46.00. And, well, similar to the women's race, I think a few of these men, a little, not, you wouldn't say sluggish out there, but just, they're not race ready yet. Definitely need a few races underneath them to really move. That was why Canales' world lead of 1:44 was such a shock to everyone, because to run that fast in January when, you know, it's a season opener is very, very impressive. But, yeah, Kibet, lovely meet record, and he's starting to find that form that he had in 2022. He's an interesting challenge, Kibet. You know, after that World Indoor Silver, when he based himself out in America, worked with the Union Athletics Club with Pete Julian, but now back training in Kenya. And it's paying off. It really is. And he's starting to bid. You know, he's making his bid towards that World Indoor Championships. And could we see, I think we're going to see both of these men contest that World Indoor Championships at the end of March. We really are in Nanjing. Well, fun racing from all. Of course, a lot of season's best. A lot of these men opening up their season, their 2025 campaign. Leclésio there, the first Frenchman home in fourth. Well, from the 800 to the mile, it will be the women's mile next on the track in just a couple minutes' time. And you can see we're all but ready for them. They will be introduced into the arena very, very shortly. Well, that French national record outdoors of 4:26.0 held by Wilmot. Can she get towards the 4:29.02, her indoor record as well? Well, here's Domink. Athlete worth considering, 4:04 1500 meter runner. That's a lifetime best. She'll have a certainly different objective than some of the others at the pointy end of this race. She'll be here to hang on and get the best out of herself. Showing for a lifetime best. Majori then, also a 4:08 1500 runner. And that gives often a little bit of context. So the 1500 run far more frequently than the mile. Grace Vans and you then of Great Britain, 2:01 800 meter runner. Very, very accomplished, fifth of those British Championships. This is her season opener. Done well to get a lane here. Can you take the opportunity? We saw Georgia Bell last year take many opportunities indoors and just build and then go on. Had that momentum right the way through. Akiru then of Uganda. Another athlete worth just looking out for. 4:08 lifetime best, 4:19 in Spain, bit of an unknown. Well, Agatha Guillemot then of France. Holds the national records in the 1500, the 2000, the indoor 1500 as well. Ninth in that Olympic Games final. The pole comes out to Alexandra Plotchinska, 4:03 1500 meter runner. Well, here's Zanoni. She looked good last week. 4:03 national record indoors. She won in Luxembourg as well. Esther Guerrero. Done a little bit of over distance work already this campaign. A couple 3,000 meter races followed up by a 2,000 this year already. She's a sub 4 minute performer over 1500. Cavalli of Italy, just another stellar name to add to the lineup. So close to breaking 4 minutes. And there's Plashinska. She comes out 8:44 over 3,000. Chiavalli, multiple indoor Italian champion. Well, here we go. The women's mile. 8 laps of this track and some, of course. All eyes will be on that lady, bib number 6, Guillemot. What can she do? That national record, 4:29.02. Can she even get the outdoor national record as well? 4:26.06. But she sharpened up with an 800 last weekend. 2:01 in Nantes, and she did look good. It was very smooth, and that's exactly what she would have needed to come here and attack that national record of 4:29. 3:56, making that Olympic final was special. She ran the that lifetime best though and the national record in the semi-final. We know how fast they were. So often is the white 1500 meter running. We talk about 800 meter running, but 1500 has really changed the way races have been executed. It's pedal to the metal the whole way. So away we go here in the women's mile in the Jesse Owens Stadium, the Normandy region, on this World Tour circuit. The women's mile is underway as they settling down on the back straight. Grace Van Zandt is shooting to the front and actually pacing this one. I did note that, yeah, she's done well to get a lane, but there you are, then she is pacing. And boy, oh boy, Hylam out front. I mean, she's a talent, all right. 3:53, a lifetime best over 1500. She's the area and Ethiopia record holder for an under 20 over that distance. But she often comes out really, really fast. At the start of each season, I mean, she came out on the outdoor circuit with that 3:53. It was emphatic. The indoor circuit 3:58, very similar last year, but at the championship, she goes quiet, she goes missing. And we haven't seen her kind of live up to her potential when it really counts at the pointy end of the season, and that's what's difficult. You can see Guillemot sitting back. There's some red lights. That may well be the French record. I mean, is there word of Hylam going for the world record? I mean, that would be unbelievable. And that was the Barber's 4:13. Way back in 2016, she set a plethora of records that year indoors. Hylam is looking very, very strong. And you talk about it, you know, you've got Guillemot in this field, who was a finalist at the Olympic Games. Hylam here, only a semi-finalist, got knocked out in that semi-finals, and 9th at the World Indoor Championships even. So she is a time trialer, to put it frankly, but 31.5. I mean, they are on fire up at the front. Grace Van Zandt doing a fine job, but she's pulled off after just 600, or just drifting out at least. But Hylam is just going to have these lights to focus on. So, ladies and gentlemen, if she's to keep this going, the green light, 4:11, world record. Well, we're just hearing about it now, but already you can see it just drifting clear. And she's a ferocious, fearless 1500 meter runner, is Burke Hylam of Ethiopia. But perhaps on this occasion, she's been a little bit too optimistic. And is it her? Is it her coach? You know, who's advising her? Who's encouraging her to attack a world record at this point in the season as well, in January? And knowing that you'd be doing it completely solo, you'd have to be seeing some incredible shape in training to really do that. And it's going to be an absolute sufferfest for her over the closing stages of this women's mile, because the rest of the field are looking to come back. And they will be clawing her back ever so slowly, at least cranning that world leader 4:20. I mean, that's starting to look out the question as well as Hylam continues to slow. Nilsson then in the pole vault. It's all him. Oh, okay. A failure, the world leader. 6:01. I mean, it would be incredible if he replicated that again here, just 2 days after doing it. Those red lights, by the way, keep an eye. I think that is the national record. So it certainly looks like Marta Zanoni in second. The Italian moving very well. Already set a national record indoors in Luxembourg this year, and she's starting to reel the field back and reel in Hylam, who is just suffering the whole way. Every set of lights has just gone beyond her. She's coping. Fair play to her. She got after it. She was aggressive. And she might be settling. She might be thinking, how best am I going to win this race now? Coming into the closing stages of this women's mile, look at Agathe Gourmaud. National record holder over a number of distances for France. She is their poster girl in this discipline. Her 2024 was kind. Can she make 2025 even better? Zanoni on the shoulder now of Hylam with a lap to run in this women's mile. 200 meters remaining. The Italian national record holder versus the Ethiopian under-20 national record holder. And it's going to be Zanoni who's going to edge clear. Has Hylam saved a little bit for the finish? The rest of the field are also battling hard. Cavalli's in there, Majori. Absolutely flying. Carrera as well. Hylam's going to fight back though. She's done it the hard way. It's been an interesting mile, that's for sure. Can she hold on, Hylam, to take it? Oh, just about on the line. Wow, 4:25.43 and goodness me. A battle. You would call that a battle to the line. 4:25. Liza Kauska, a fine run from her. 4:25.48, a lifetime best. She was the one threatening, moving past Zanoni. Did some hard yards in the middle there to close that gap. Worth more, and a national record for Gourmaud. She does dip inside that 4:26.06. 4:25.99. She'll be delighted with that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was an emphatic mile race. I can only predict it's early on, and it might be a bold claim. We're going to see a lot of those women back at the World Indoor Championships, or fighting out, shall I say, at the World Indoor Championships, the European Indoor Championships, and, well, Italy and France continuing to impress over the middle distances, going from strength to strength. Zanoni here, just tying up a little bit. And then Liza Kauska timed that race very, very well. And that's another athlete who, she too, her 2024 was just phenomenal. That Olympics in Paris dragged so many women to sub-4. I mean, 4 minutes used to be the benchmark of real world-class 1,500 meter mile pedigree. And now you do begin to question, because just so many, inside 4 minutes, and it won't be long. I bet for LA 2028, that could well be the qualifying mark. It really is, the way these distance events are going. So then we move swiftly, after the drama of that women's mile, we move swiftly to the women's 60-meter hurdles final. We have 3 events left here, ladies and gentlemen. The 60-meter hurdles final for the women. The 3,000-meter men's final will be off for 7:15. And then the men's 60-meter hurdles final, which everyone will be hanging around to watch. They love their hurdles here in Val de Reuil. They really do. Letitia Bapti, boy, how good did she look in her heats. Getting one up on Pia Szyszkowska. European champion in 2022. She walks out. You'll know what she'll have to do. She'll have to raise her game. That's for sure. 3rd at the World Indoor Championships last year. She's going to want to defend that as well at the back end of March in Nanjing, China. Makes her way. Kamasi. 8 flat. Did well to sneak in to this final. Boy, is it strong. Yarashi of India picked up a nice win last week. The Asian champion from 2023. National record holder for the 100-meter hurdles outdoors. 12:78. Will look to continue to work that down. Here's Tina Lim. And a Dutch woman. Finalist at the European Indoor Championships 2 years ago. Dutch champion from 2024, right on the outside. So the women's 60-meter hurdle final. It's going to be a fascinating
Avec Agathe Guimau
But let's hear from a new national record, another one
son record
to
de
the
France, on peut
collection.
l'applaudir. Bien entendu, Agathe, ça aura été une course que tu préparais, c'était un objectif que tu t'étais fixé. Est-ce que tu pensais battre avec autant de marge ce record que tu détenais déjà?
Honnêtement, oui, c'était l'objectif de me rapprocher des 4,25, voire de passer cette barrière. Voilà, je suis toute proche, je fais un tout petit peu moins de 4,26. On va dire que cette course était une étape dans ma préparation pour ce long hiver avec deux grands championnats majeurs, les championnats d'Europe et les championnats du monde. Voilà, je suis très contente de moi. On va dire que je suis restée calme dans une course avec pas mal de densité. Après, il faudra réussir à prendre plus de risques sur la première partie de course et voilà, finir plus fort. Mais c'est une première étape de franchie. Je vais 4 secondes plus vite que l'année dernière, donc on peut m'espérer, j'espère d'aller 4 secondes plus vite au 1500 à la fin de la saison, quoi.
Oui, ça annonce de très très belles choses pour la suite. Tu avais fait une rentrée sur 800 mètres. Ton record de France avait tremblé avec Bérénice Cléier-Merle sur le mile. Quelles sont maintenant les prochaines étapes pour la suite de la saison? Est-ce que c'est justement la recherche de la régularité et d'enchaîner les courses à très haut niveau?
Oui, je pense que cette année, l'objectif, ça va être de faire partie du circuit de Diamond League et d'aller chercher des médailles dans les championnats majeurs au niveau mondial. Déjà peut-être une première Marseillaise cet hiver sur les championnats d'Europe et puis voilà, une régularité sous les 4 minutes que j'ai réussi à avoir en fin de saison, mais dès ma rentrée, j'aimerais bien faire moins de 4 minutes cet été et aller chercher moins de 3,55. Voilà, maintenant, j'ai plus peur de grand-chose, à vrai dire.
Eh ben, très bien, on va te montrer aussi qu'on n'a pas peur et qu'on est avec toi. Applaudissements pour Agathe Guimau et on sera ravis de chanter la Marseillaise avec toi. La recordwoman de France, Agathe Guimau.
What a run, despite finishing a little bit further down the field than perhaps she would have liked, the competitor in her would have liked. It's another national record. And, well, Willie Moe has 4 now, and it's quite something. 2,000, 1,500, indoors, outdoors, and now the mile too. Well, there's a few women in this 60-meter hurdles who hold their national record as well. They are the best that has ever come from their country. Can they be the best here in Reuil in the Jesse Owens Stadium? This is what happened earlier on. We had 3 heats go down, Pia Tchaikovsky, but it was us, Letitia Bapte, who edged out Tchaikovsky, bronze medalist from last year's World Indoor Championships. Head-on shot of these women, the American to the right, a picture as well. Jones, Raina Jones, semi-finalist at those US trials last year. We know how tough it is for them to make that American team in the hurdles. It's the home of the hurdles, really, and what a run. So that was the story. Kamasi looked very, very smooth in her heat as well. You can see her storming clear. Naida Kamasi, perhaps a little bit of a surprise, to be honest with you. Given the quality alongside her, she would have thought she would have had a little bit more of a battle, but she's got a lane in the final and she's got to contest and believe that she can challenge the likes of Tchaikovsky and Letitia Bapte. Well, Leah Armstrong then, 12:40, her lifetime best outdoors. She's a former NCAA medalist indoors as well, 4th at the World Championships in 2022. She's right there on the inside. She has an incredible CV. The frustrating thing for someone like Armstrong is if she was from any other country except the US, she surely would be featuring a lot more at the Global Championships. Instead, she has to negotiate those US trials. So does this woman, Raina Jones, in a very, very similar position. An incredible lifetime best. She's had a busy 2025, whether it be over the 60 or the 60 hurdles. Being down so at it. But this woman, can she win on home soil? Letitia Bapte, she was phenomenal in her heat. That's a big scalp for her to take Tchaikovsky. She would have loved that. But she's a fighter, is Tchaikovsky, and you don't get global medals without being one. She knows when to perform, when to raise her game. Kamasi then, dominated in her heat. Smooth, smooth run, and just remained relaxed when the others around her folded. Yuraji then, Indian national record holder outdoors, and on the outside, Tina Lim. Also a national record holder of the Netherlands. Armstrong, Jones, Fiendensoa, Bapti, Shikoska, Kamasi, Yuraji, and Tinalim. The women's 60-meter hurdle final here. The meeting gear. It is always special. That meet record, 7:82. Watch the clock. The only person to have gone quicker than that, Shikoska and Armstrong. Well, a few nerves. Started just making sure these women are in sync and are calm enough to get into their blocks. We will keep an eye on those center lanes, that's for sure. Bapti and Shikoska, that was the battle in the heat. Will we see it again? So away they go, those two athletes in yellow in the middle. Bapti hits that first hurdle, but still drives clear. This is a phenomenal run. She edges clear of Shikoska. She does it again. 7:88. Very impressive from Bapti, and that'll be a lifetime best, if official. Backing up her run in the heat, and despite clattering that first barrier, if my eyes don't deceive me, 7:87 lifetime best, equal season's best for Shikoska. Kamasi there in third, backs up her run in the heat with 8:02. She really does, doesn't she? And great running from her, and rewarded with a podium finish. But a national lead then we're going to see. So French lead, she'll go to the top of the French rankings and not a million miles off, you know, 0.05 of a second off the meet record, and well, a little bit further off, a tenth of a second off that world lead, but just smooth. That is the word to use. But look at this first hurdle. How did that not throw her off? This fin that's so inside of her. And as my eyes do this evening, he clicked that first hurdle. Still a lot to contend with. Teacher Bapti had the flat speed. She makes hurdling look easy, doesn't she? What a run from Bapti. Next up then, the men's 3,000, and then the men's 60-meter hurdles will follow. There you go, confirmation of that women's 60-meter hurdles. It was tight for the minor places, wasn't it? Seeing him getting a season's best there in fifth, the Dutch record holder. Well, here you are, ladies and gentlemen. This men's 3,000 meters promises to be special. We've already seen some fantastic 2,000-meter races around the world over the past 24 hours. Of course, the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix will take place over in Boston this evening as well. And these men will be competing, many of them at the World Indoor Championships, if not the European Indoor Championships. Here's Kabrugat. Boris Kabrugat, one of the few to have a lightning quick 1:44.800. He has struggled to transition that into the 3,000 and the 1,500. But third at the African Champs. George Milsden, what a year he had in 2024. Second at the European Championships over the 5,000 behind Jakob Ingebrigtsen. A truly phenomenal athlete is Mills, and he's only getting better. Well, Thorworth then, the German. Out he comes, 7:38 lifetime best. It's inside that European qualifying standard of 7:43, so he's been there, done that. Baltus, the Dutchman, having a very good indoor campaign so far. National record holder in the mile as well, 3:54 indoors. Surprisingly enough, for someone like Mills, this is a debut as the rest of them enter the arena. He is certainly one of the high-profile athletes in this race. Bastien Augusto, he will have the home crowd on his side. 60:18 in the half marathon. That was in Valencia pre the turn of the new year. Charles Wheeler, 7:47 indoor PB. The Brit, he'll have that qualification mark of 7:43 fixated in his mind on the way round. Ignacio Fontes. Dublin Track Club now, training with that Irish group and set up 3:34 performer over 1,500. Formerly a 1,500 metre man, stepping up, you could say. And Mark Leroy, you would only suggest he may well be pacing Roger as well. 7:53, no slouch over the 3,000. He'll just have to settle in and find his rhythm. Well, Damani, Frenchman getting a great reception as he too enters the arena here in this Jesse Owens Stadium. So the last distance race of the evening. And that world lead, by the way, 7:39. It's something which could go. Meet record 2013. Goes back 12 years. Paul Katsili Koech, 7:38. And a phenomenal steeplechaser was Koech. A world record. Amateur game was 7:23. Men's 3,000. 15 laps of the track. Bastien Augusto. French hopes in this one, 13:16, 5,000 metre performer. So away they go. Things will settle down quite quickly, I can only imagine. These athletes will want to find themselves on the rail, single file. It is a season opener for many. This is getting their indoor campaign underway, so they might not be as sharp as they'd like to be in sort of 2 or 3 weeks' time, but it will be one of the few chances they'll get to attack those qualifying marks for the World Indoors and the European Indoors as well. It looks like George Mills settles right in behind the two places. Kip Ruget, as I mentioned, a great 800 metre, 1:45 for his lifetime best. 6th over the 1,500. Time will tell if he is a pacemaker, well, they've got two pacers, or he is in this to win. So 3 men breaking away already, to be honest with you. And Federico Riva is a man to watch out for too. 3:32, 1,500 metre runner. That's his lifetime best. Semi-finalist at the Olympic Games in that discipline. He's certainly someone that you look at and he can contest. He was 11th at those World Indoor Championships last year over 3,000. Can contest to the pointy end of this race. So we've got a race of 2 halves at the moment, and it's Fontes who is leading that second group. Probably not where he wants to be. He's going to want Kip Sang to come around him, who surprisingly, 7:40 by the way, in Luxembourg just a couple weeks ago. So he's capable of running a lot faster. What are they operating at? We'll see what they get through the splits as they come up, as we just pan across to Nielsen in the pole, the world leader. Oh, and he's up and over. He does it once again. He continues to impress, does Nielsen. Time after time. And he just is in fine form. He really is. And I think that might have been a medium record sign. I would be surprised if it was a world lead sign. So here we are. They are operating right around, 7:33, 7:34 tempo. Too flat, just over through the 800 metre mark. That is lightning fast. Of course, we'll get a better indication on their first K. This will be quite easy running for some of them, the likes of Mills and of course Riva. They have been here before. You know, they've got 1,500 metre times in the low 330s. So 60s is never comfortable for these men, but it is doable. And boy, for them to get down on 7:30 would be something. That 7:31, by the way, is the world indoor qualifying mark, and they may well have that fixated in their minds too. 2:31 at the 1,000. That's great pacing. Kip Sang's kind of stuck in no man's land. He's trying to bridge that gap. If he's patient enough, and he's got those white lights to run with actually, if he's patient enough, he could come on to that top group of 4. Worth keeping an eye a little bit further down as well. Bastien Augusto, as I mentioned, 60:18 over the half marathon. That didn't translate to the cross country though. 30th at those European cross champs. But he's a fine 5,000 metre man, 13:16 last summer. So we're through the first kilometre in this men's 3,000. It is still, at the moment, we're going to see Kip Ruget lead out George Mills. And Mills is someone, he's broken 13 minutes over the 5,000. Like I said, went toe-to-toe with Jakob Ingebrigtsen in Rome. The Olympics may not have quite gone his way. Yeah, a lot of attention on him as well, but he would have learned from that, and it's a new Olympic cycle. And I guess he could say he was relevant. Did he come out too hot in 2024? Did he perform almost too well in the early part of the season? You kind of have to these days with the qualifying marks so hard for the major championships, for those global championships. You kind of have to have two peaks in a season, whereas really you could almost just have one and bubble your way up to a championships and kind of nab a qualifying mark en route, whereas now you need to be on your A game, even for an athlete like Mills, who continues to look impressive. He's clipping off 30 points lap after lap. These guys were just outside a 4-minute mile as they went through the halfway mark or just under. So I believe Boas Kiprugut, the way that he's looking, is just doing all he can to pace Mills round. Stick with him for as long as possible in this men's 3,000. It looks like Federico Riva. So Kiprugut's going to peel off. It's going to be Mills. He'll be used to training on his own, so he'll be used to running out front on his own as well. Threshold after threshold after threshold has been his story the last few years, and boy, has it paid off. He is truly dedicated to this sport, just like a few of these men. And he continues to wind up his effort only to maintain his pace. You could argue he'll have those lights to hold on. Would be a very, very impressive run if we saw him get down to 5:03 at the 2,000 meter mark, another 2:31 kilometer. Now, this is the time. The race is going to go two ways. Is it going to slip or is he going to push on? And he looks like he's really turning the screw here, pushing on. We'll have to check the record book. You hardly think that he's going to be challenging for the likes of a national record just this early on in January, but he's rewriting the script, is Mills. 800 meter to go. Riva's doing a fine job, by the way, hanging on. And that pack behind is still running very fast. They're still running inside European qualifying mark standard, because he's going to be very, very close to 7:30 as George Mills of Great Britain. That meet record of 7:38 is all but gone at this stage as we come into the latter stages of this men's 3,000. And the world leader is 7:39. That too is going to go. And he talks a game, does Mills. He knows how good he is. He's assured, he's confident, and he's delivering on all fronts. He delivered on the early part of 2024. Perhaps many, including himself, would have expected more from him at the Olympic Games, but he would have learned. He's grown, and boy, has he wintered well. And the 3,000, it might be his sweet spot. When you look at what he can do over the 5,000 and his background from the 800 up to the 1,500 and now beyond, he's going to pile it on. George Mills, ladies and gentlemen, coming up to the bell lap. He's going to be challenging, threatening. The bell lap outdoors, that is, for that 7:30 mark. And it would be something as he edges clear of these blue lights coming into the final 300. Keep an eye on the clock. 6:45 over on that far side. Well, if he can run a 7:75 last 300, he's going to be right on the money of 7:30, and that would be special. He's pouring on. This is what he does. He's announcing himself as one of the best in the world over this discipline. Many will be watching this race back thinking he is the man to beat alongside the likes of Jakob Ingebrigtsen come the World Indoor Championships. This is one of the most impressive races I've ever seen from this man. He's meant business from gun to tape, and he's going to make history here for himself and global history as well. George Mills, 7:27.9. Wow. While the others are strewn out on the track here, Mills is finished some way ahead. Riva there in second. Managed to hang on. It was brave. It was bold to even attempt to go with Mills. Wow. He's cooked up a storm in the beating heart of South Africa through these winter months. And that's the world lead from Mills, 7:27.9. Well, he's going to thank the Pacers. I think that's what he's doing. Some of his teammates out there as well. Baldus, the Dutchman, we'll have to wait and see those results to see where those men finished. At the moment, the only results. Bastien Augusto then. Well, he too was just outside the previous worldly 7:39. Lifetime best for him. That's great running inside that European standard. How many men were inside that European standard? Let's have a look. Thorworth 7:41. Bouncer 7:42. So he ticks it off as well. It's a new national record. That was out of the question early on. Oh, Charles Wheeler, 7:44, just outside the European standard, so he just missed it. But a fine run from him as a season opener. Fireworks. Absolute fireworks. There's no other way of putting it here in Val d'Isère. The Jesse Owens Stadium. Mills was Jesse Owens-esque over that final 200. He really was. Look at this. On your own, how difficult is it to squeeze like that on your own and just to lift and lift and lift every lap? Boy, that was impressive. Confused? I don't think so. He would have known he had that in him, and the way he trains, he gets a lot of KPIs throughout the season, and he'll know how he's matching up and faring compared to last year. 7:27.92, ladies and gentlemen, that is history. Bastien Augusto doing it for the French crowd here with 7:39.77. One race to come, and you could tell it means everything. The lights have been dimmed. And the lions of the 60-meter hurdlers will be waiting behind the scenes, backstage, to be introduced to the crowd to do battle in their arena.
Mesdames et messieurs, la finale du 60 mètres des messieurs. Une épreuve soutenue par le
Here we go. Introduced one by one, each of them given their own time to list off their CV. Fremov, 7:59 lifetime best. If he gets near it, it's a mark which could compete and could win today. He's been not quite at that level since the turn of the year, and he's 7:65 season's best. Here is Rafael Pereira, the Brazilian. 13:17, the national record holder, and by the way, the South American area record holder. Semi-finalist at those Olympic Games in Paris. Well, one of two Polish men to hold to share the national record. Czajski. Damian Czajski, 13:25 outdoors over the 110 hurdles. He's a multiple Polish national champion. So is Szymanski, who is conveniently enough the world leader. And he'll want to maintain that. He'll want to keep that claim. Judging by the heats, I think he will. Whether the track's slow or whether these men were just being patient in the heats and saving themselves for the final. Can we see fireworks? We've seen it in the 3000. We've seen a national record. How many national records, meet records have we seen today? I've lost count. Check the record books, lady, because they're going to need rewriting after this meeting. The man in the moment, just Matei. 7:43 lifetime best, 7:53. He is energized. He's amped up. He's ready to go. He's going to need to be on his absolute A game. He was in the heat. He looks smooth, buttery smooth. He did dispatch of some tough opposition. Reuil Manga. He got his season off to a winning start, did Manga. He won last weekend as well. Third at the European Indoor Championships back in 2019. Third at the World Indoor Championships in 2018. So him and just Matei know what it takes. Tiaz Shersi, the Indian champion from 2023 and 2024. Romain Lecourt did fantastic to make this final. And he's the last to enter the arena as these men prepare for 7 seconds. Of pure focus, discipline, composure. 7 seconds where if you do not execute to complete perfection, you could be left on the other side of the tape.
Avec Chris Nielsen qui
Let's
établit un
talk
nouveau
to Chris
record
Nielsen,
du meeting qu'on peut
trackside.
applaudir. 5,85 m aujourd'hui, 6,01 m il y a 2 jours en Normandie et à Caen. Congratulations, Chris. A new win in 2 days after Caen 2 days ago. Today you beat the meet record that you already had. How do you feel after these 2 competitions? Comment tu te sens après ces 2 compétitions et ces 2 performances que tu as réalisées avant-hier et aujourd'hui?
Yes, I feel very good to come back to Reuil after 4 years. My first time in France was I came here for my first professional win. So this place has a very special meaning to me. And to be able to jump 585 after jumping 601 2 days ago, I felt like my legs were jelly running down the runway. So I'm just very happy to stay healthy.
Voilà, il est ravi de revenir ici à Val-de-Reuil. C'est la première fois qu'il avait remporté une compétition en tant que professionnel il y a 4 ans, en 2021. Et forcément, après sa compétition et ses 6,01 m il y a 2 jours, ses jambes sont encore un peu lourdes. Where did you find the energy to keep this consistency with high level, with high bar, with more than 580 and 85? Où est-ce que tu trouves toute cette énergie justement pour rester régulier au-delà de 5,80 m et 5,85 m?
I think after last year not being the best year for me performance-wise, I was very excited in the mid-training the last couple of months to make sure I got back on track to my normal competition. So today was just focusing on executing as well as I possibly could the things I've been working on in practice, and it turned out to be a 585 bar today.
Voilà, il n'a pas réalisé sa meilleure année l'année dernière, donc il était forcément excité de revenir très très fort pour cette nouvelle saison. Et il se concentre surtout sur le fait de continuer d'exécuter, d'être régulier dans le geste qu'il doit établir et pour rester au plus haut niveau. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much, Chris.
Merci à tous.
Chris Nielsen.
Fine words from Chris Nielsen, the world leader and the champion here. 2-time champion now, as he mentioned. But here we go. The men's 60-meter hurdles. The final. Is it going to be the Just Kwame show? Can he deliver? This is what happened. This is how we got to this moment. Szymanski winning heat 1, Manuel second. So there's the world leader. To the right of picture in orange or yellow. However you want to look at it, Manga in good form, clipped that 4th barrier, didn't he? And Szymanski was definitely clear by that point, but it wasn't going to help. He needs to have a clean run in here. And Just Kwame turning up. Pascal Martinal, the guards did do battle, try to fight back, but Just Kwame when he gets running, when he gets into that top rhythm, his flat speed is so good. And he has sharpened up with a few 60s coming into this, and it's showing. Well, that's Sonic. Are we going to see a few of them in this 60-meter hurdles? I sure think so. He gets the crowd engaged for one final time this evening. It always delivers. Can we see meet record Grant Holloway? Imagine if Just Kwame takes that record down. The world lead also 7:41, joint with that meet record of Holloway. So you're going to get 2 for the price of 1. If you dip inside that, whoever it may be today. Moments away from the final race here in the Jesse Owens Stadium. Yefremov, Pereira, Saiska, Szymanski, Just Kwame, Manga, Chaussee, and Lecourt. Here we go. 7.5 seconds ahead of these men. It is a psychological battle as they settle into their blocks. Clean start from all. Szymanski gets up well. He's the world leader. He's putting pressure on Just Matej. Can he get back to him? It's going to be the pole. It's going to be Szymanski. 7:41. 7:48. I apologize. The moment carried me away. Let's see the official time. Just Matej just couldn't get near him, could he? 7:46 did. Officially from Szymanski. Just Matej, it's a season's best with 7:52. It's a good start for him. He'll be happy enough with it. But the competitor in him will be a little bit gutted. He missed out on the win. He tried to put the pressure on the world leader. But he's continued consistent. Manga there in third, 7:58. So a French affair for second and third. Great to see. And Seiska, 7:62 in fourth. This man starting to announce himself as one of the best in the world when it comes to the 60 hurdles. It was a good start, and over that first flight, he rose first, and from there, he just continued to pull away. And I think when you're on the back foot, when you're Just Matej, and you realize the race might be just slipping away from you mentally, it's going to be difficult to come back from. That being said, I mean, he ran a race that he can be very proud of, and he still came away with the season's best for sure. But Szymanski, Gunter tape. He knows how to run the 60-meter hurdles, that's for sure. Well, I'm sure we'll hear from Just Matej at some point. He'll give the crowd a bit of an interaction and engagement. But that does officially crown off the action here in Val de Reuil. It's been a very, very special day, and we have seen some sublime performances, we really have. And for it to be just the turn of the month going into February, which is going to be a fierce period of racing for a lot of these athletes. The national championships are on the horizon, 2 or 3 weeks away. But the World Indoor Championships a month away as well, with those European Indoor Championships coming between the two. So we might not hear from Just Matej, but we will hear, it looks like, getting ready to hear from the winner there, Jacob Szymanski. There you are. Better recap that women's high jump. Great win for Morgan Lake. 189, beating the 2-meter jumper there in the longer distance.
Avec juste Koumaté, qu'on peut applaudir une nouvelle fois. Il est de retour, mesdames et messieurs. Et rien que pour vous ici, au meeting de l'heure. Juste, forcément, il y avait énormément d'émotions de revenir dans une salle que tu connais par cœur, qui fait une beauté pour que tu reviennes. On va rester ici. Comment tu te sens maintenant que tu as remis les 2 pieds dans les pointes, les 2 pieds sur les haies?
Vraiment heureux. Comme vous le savez tous, je reviens d'une blessure, donc cette compétition, j'avais à cœur de revenir et revenir fort. Malheureusement, je suis encore arrivé deuxième au meeting de Val de Reuil. En tout cas, je suis content de revenir. Comme tu as dit, il y a une nouvelle piste, donc j'étais vraiment pressé de la tester en compétition. Je fais une meilleure rentrée que l'année dernière, c'est ça qui est le plus important aujourd'hui. Je reviens à la compétition aussi et je suis vraiment très heureux de courir.
C'est vrai que cette mésaventure, cette saison qui a été écourtée prématurément l'année dernière, elle t'a construit en tant que sportif, mais aussi en tant qu'homme. Maintenant, quels sont les objectifs, maintenant que tu en sais un petit peu plus là, sur ton état physique?
Les objectifs en vrai, c'est prendre du plaisir en compétition. C'est refaire des beaux chronos, aller chercher des médailles tout simplement maintenant. C'est vrai qu'il y a des championnats en salle. Avec le coach, on ne pense pas spécialement à ça, mais on va se préparer pour être prêt à n'importe quelle compétition. Donc là, on se retrouve la semaine prochaine à Paris et on va descendre le chrono encore.
Eh bien, je te laisse surtout retrouver le public de Val-de-Reuil et tes proches. Applaudissements pour Juste Kaumaté.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we heard from the man of the moment, Just Kwame. He didn't get that fairy tale ending that he might have wanted with the win here in front of his home crowd. That was spoiled by Jacob Szymanski in that 60-meter hurdles. But it's been a fine evening of athletics. It really has, and I thank you all for tuning in. And we will certainly see you back here next year. You've got a taste of what we can deliver here in Val-de-Reuil. And until next time, take care.
Qui ont porté les bannières des champions et des championnes aujourd'hui. Un tonnerre d'applaudissements.